Welcome to the Queen City Music Podcast, the podcast devoted to the local music scene in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, here's your host, Matthew Ablin.
Hello, and welcome to episode 97 of the Queen City Music Podcast. This episode of the QCMP is sponsored by Midwood Guitar Studio, Charlotte, North Carolina's own boutique guitar shop located in Plaza Midwood. Midwood Guitar Studio not only has the finest selection of boutique guitars, but familiar names like Fender, Martin, Taylor, Two-Rock, and many others. Whether it's a guitar, bass, amp, effects pedal, or a much-needed accessory, the knowledgeable and friendly staff at Midwood Guitar Studio will help guide you in the right direction for your next purchase. And Midwood Guitar Studio also has a luthier on staff for all your repair needs. Visit their website at midwoodguitarstudio.com or stop in to see their unique shop at 1517 Central Avenue, Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'd like to welcome our newest sponsor, Goldie's, the spot for live music and food in the heart of Charlotte's Lower South End. Goldie's offers unpretentious food like smash burgers, wraps, pizza, and my favorite, the pulled chicken quesadillas. And while enjoying food and drinks, take in the live music featuring some of Charlotte's best musical acts. The music starts Fridays at 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 5 p.m. Check out their weekly live music schedule at goldiesclt.com or stop in at 3601 South Boulevard, Charlotte, North Carolina. By the way, if you have a business and would like to become a sponsor of the QCMP, like our friends at Midwood Guitar Studio and Goldie's, drop me a line at qcmusicpodcast@gmail.com and I'll discuss all the information with you. And if you enjoy the podcast, drop by MatthewAblin.com, where you'll find my upcoming performance dates, social media links, original music, and a host of other information. Wow, it's hard to believe we are now a quarter of the way through 2026. So much has been happening with the podcast, and I'm happy you decided to give this episode of the QCMP a listen because I have a real treat for you. I'm sitting down with singer, multi-instrumentalist, and songwriter Payton Rose Velligan for what is the longest episode of the QCMP to date. You may recall Payton was on the podcast back in 2020 with her bandmates in Irrashional, which was episode 31 to be exact. However, in the last 6 years, Payton has been doing so much that I wanted to make sure we had time to talk about everything she's been up to. One of the highlights includes recently completing an epic tour as one of the newest members of the Weird Al Yankovic band on the 2025 Bigger and Weirder tour. And she got to play Madison Square Garden. I don't want to get ahead of myself, so I'll let Payton fill you in. Payton Rose Velligan, welcome to the Queen City Music Podcast, or should I say welcome back?
Thank you. It's so good to be back, and thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to have a conversation. Yeah.
So if you don't know about Payton, she was on episode 31 of the Queen City Music Podcast, and this is way back when? This is way back in 2020, and you were on with the fellows in Irrational.
Wow.
How old were you back then?
I was 18 or 19.
Wow.
I think, yeah, I think I was 18 when we did that.
And you have done so much musically since then. So there's just like, this could be my longest podcast ever because I know there's just so much to cover with you.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So let's go through it. Even though you can check out episode 31, I think we briefly covered a little bit about it. Can you tell us about your music background, or actually better yet, are you originally from the Charlotte area?
I am. I was born and raised. So I'm proud to be a Carolina girl, and my parents are from Indiana, so they moved here shortly before I was born, and yeah, born and raised in Charlotte, or more specifically up closer to Lake Norman, up north of Charlotte.
Okay. All right. Well, there's not that many people who are original Charlotteans. So, I think I know like 10 people who are originally from the area, but then again, they're my age. They're not the young folks like you whose parents moved down here. What's your music background like, Payton? Fill us in.
Well, I started playing music when I was very young, probably before I even have memories of, hopping on the keyboard and banging on it and trying to make sounds. But my parents both are big music lovers. So they play for fun. So they passed the love for it to me very quickly as a young kid. And I started taking piano lessons when I was 5 or 6 probably, and enjoyed it. I loved playing around with the different sounds on the keyboard and playing, kind of picking out things by ear, but also just learning to read sheet music.
Yeah.
I eventually kept studying it, started studying classical music, and just fell in love with it. I love the piano, so that was my first love as an instrument. And then I picked up the guitar when I was about 12 or 13. My dad showed me my first few chords. He plays guitar. He had a couple old guitars in the attic and put some strings on them. And I had fallen in love with the Beatles around that time and started to listen to classic rock, Led Zeppelin, Queen, Pink Floyd, and just wanted to pick out all those songs. Wanted to be then a guitar player. I loved Jimmy Page, and I loved, and my love for that music really carried me to be like, it was my obsession at that point. I loved music. And then I just kept playing as a teenager and just grew from there.
Was that when you started playing guitar around like 13, you said? Was that when you really got bitten by the music bug? Like you just started to be like, damn, this is it.
Yes, I think so. It was when I started playing guitar that I saw myself more as maybe a musician.
Okay.
Like it's kind of funny thinking back when I took piano lessons and I could play the piano. But I did recitals. I wasn't really performing really otherwise. I wasn't thinking about myself in that way, like creating. I was just studying it. And, I guess I enjoyed the study, and I still do enjoy the study of piano. When I started playing guitar, I was, watching the old concert films of these bands that I loved, and I was like, oh, and I started taking lessons from a guy named Carl Gunther, and about a year in, when I was playing guitar, he put me in a band, my first band, which was an all-girl group, and I played guitar, and then it was thinking about, whoa, I might, we started performing and doing little gig showcases here and there with Carl. And it just changed the way that I saw myself interacting with music and what I could do with it. And, I started to realize this is something we can share.
Right.
Piano's kind of a solitary instrument. And my parents always loved to hear me play, thankfully. They were so supportive and they would encourage me to play for them. But I started to see guitar as, I could go out and do a gig and like we could all come together as a band and share this music. And so, that definitely changed how I saw it.
That's pretty cool. Cause I tell you what, I give you credit. Cause all the years I studied, I think I've said it before in the podcast, piano, I just never got. Like playing guitar, it was always straight wrists, and piano, this bent wrist, and like I just never got it. Like I can plunk out chords and some scales and kind of putz around, but like I never got it well enough to be able to really play. If you can't see me because you're on the, I'm doing piano playing in the air.
Air piano. Everybody talks about air guitar. Nobody talks about air piano. It's epic.
It is. When you listen to Billy Joel or Elton John, you kind of got to do that.
That's so true.
So Payton, were you taking lessons at this time for guitar? Or were you kind of trying to being self-taught?
I was self-taught for about a year. And in addition to my dad showing me some chords and helping me along, he had a lot of the guitar magazines that he had saved from, I guess when he got into it, when he was like in college, he collected them.
Nice.
And so I learned how to read the tabs. And I think playing piano helped me pick up the guitar a lot faster than I would have if I had not played piano.
How so?
Because I was already kind of familiar with the names of chords. It was like I could visualize it on the piano and then just say, oh, and this is how I would play this on the guitar. And so it stuck quicker. The fingering and the physical aspect of the guitar was harder, to get used to fretting and the shapes of the guitar and how it's laid out. But the music theory that I had studied with piano up until that point helped me understand, like translate, okay, this is what it looks like on the piano, this is what it looks like on the guitar. And so that first year of being self-taught, I think I was able to do that and have some mild success because of my piano lessons that I had taken and was still taking. But then I started taking guitar lessons with Carl. My mom and dad were both like, whenever, if you'd be interested in taking lessons, they're the best, and they wanted to see me keep following something that I was passionate about,
right,
and not get stuck, at a certain point being self-taught. I was looking at YouTube videos and stuff, and there's a certain point where that becomes hard,
sure,
to progress at a certain point. At least for me it was. I know some people who have only been self-taught and are amazing, but for me I hit a certain point where I think I needed lessons. So
I find it interesting you're talking about piano and you're talking about guitar. But I primarily know you as being a vocalist and a bass player.
Yeah.
So, and I kind of know, that you played some piano, but were you singing beforehand, or is that something that came later? Were you singing in like school, in middle and high school as you started playing instruments?
That's a good question. I was singing throughout to some extent. I started actually... Another lesson that I took vocal lessons when I was around 9 or 10.
Interesting.
I took vocal lessons, and I left that out. I guess it's funny. I was studying kind of Broadway style vocals
at 9.
At 9.
That's crazy. I mean, I'm an elementary school teacher, and that's one
so
thing. You
funny.
still got to be careful teaching young kids at a certain age certain vocal styles. Like, they want to sing a certain way, but their you don't want to damage anybody's vocal cords. It's kind of, I mean, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that's a tough thing to do.
It was interesting. I think I was a little too young, although I'm grateful that I had the experience, sure, because, even though I didn't continue with that, I maybe did it for a year or two, and I think I needed to mature, and I was very fearful to sing in front of anybody. Like, I think my parents recognized that I loved music, and I liked to sing music that I, around the house or singing along in the car, sure, and stuff. So they wanted to foster that in me, but I was still really scared to sing in front of people.
Yeah. And,
oddly enough, like, scared to sing a song that was emotional and make other people emotional. That was like my big, I can remember singing, I love the Phantom of the Opera. That was like, I fell in love with that movie and the musical. And so I wanted to sing all the songs from that as, even as a 9-year-old, 10-year-old. And I remember singing Think of Me at my voice recital, and I started crying, and then the people started crying, or maybe it was vice versa. Maybe they started crying and I started crying. And, cause it was just like so overwhelming. I ran off the stage and I just couldn't finish the song. And I think we realized, like, maybe we'll come back to this in a few years. Yeah. It was a lot of emotion. And I'm now, like, many years later, I'm realizing that emotion, it's powerful, and it can be hard still for me to translate that. Like, I want to make people feel something with music when I sing a song. That's what we're here for. Like, sure, we're here to feel that. And I love that when people listen to me sing or whatever, play, that they feel something. That's good, but sometimes it becomes so powerful that it's hard to even handle. And I'm still thinking about that. But anyway, so voice lessons, I ended up taking, re-signing up for voice lessons when I was maybe 15, when I started playing in bands and we started singing. And then it was more of a rock approach. Like, I'm doing rock music in the band, but I'm still studying classical. Yeah. I was studying classical voice at that time too, to hone my technique so that I could sing healthily in a band, and not damage my voice or anything. So I did come back to that, and I was ready at that point to.
Did you, when you were studying classical piano and did you love it? Like, do you love classical? Like, I found when I was studying classical guitar, I really like the music, but I like the idea of playing guitar more. So it was more about guitar, and it was like, this is guitar music, than it was like, I love this classical music. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
I think so, definitely. I do love classical music. It's been something it's a love that is kind of kept growing in me. Right. And now I feel like I love it more than I did when I first started studying classical music. Mm-hmm. At first it was like just the natural progression of studying piano. It was mixed in with my repertoire that I was learning from, songbooks, and I was, playing some popular music. I'm kind of a little bit of a gamer, so I would pull video game music and play that on piano. And like my teachers were very open. I'd play Broadway stuff. And then it would be like, hey, this classical piece, I think you'd really like it. It's a Chopin. It's, a Bach piece. And I'd be like, oh, this is cool. And I really did like it. And I think I also liked intellectually the challenge of playing that music because it was advanced and, like playing Bach, for instance. It's not really something I listen to all the time, sometimes when I'm in the mood, but it's so fun to study. Yeah. And I really appreciate that part about it. So yeah, I enjoyed the study of classical, but I really, truly I love romantic era classical era music I do like, but romantic era music is like, my heart and soul. I love it so much. So yeah, I still enjoy, I don't take lessons anymore, but I still love studying that music on the piano and learning those pieces.
That's interesting. I love that different musicians, when I talk and they're into classical, there's always a different period that they like. If I had to pick a period, it would probably be earlier music. Like I really like Renaissance and I like Baroque music. So cool. I mean, I love the later stuff too, but like the earlier stuff is kind of, I even thought when I was going to school that maybe I would study early music instead. That would kind of be like a push for me. So
I love learning about that too in my music history classes in school. Stuff is so fascinating.
Yeah, there was a lot going on back then. Like there was a lot more improvisation. Like we tend to think of classical music now as it's written down and you have to play it like this. But I mean, you start talking about Baroque music. I mean, not Bach specifically because he was really detailed in what he wanted players to do. But other music, man, they would leave it and then you would just figure out your own ornamentation for it and you could just ornament the heck out of it.
Oh my gosh, figured bass, stuff like that. I learned about that in school and it was hard to wrap my head around the idea that it was so like spur of the moment. It's different every time and they're improvising so much, and it totally challenged what I thought about classical music. Like I say classical because that is an era of music, but we also just kind of generally call instrumental music, classical music. But I think I liked that about studying the classical piano was the rules. And I liked that it was, this is what the sheet music says and this is what you have to do, and study it and learn it and try to do it just like that. Yeah. I liked that. I think that's maybe different than, like I got into rock and roll and that's all about breaking the rules and challenging everything. Like what is music? I am more of a rule follower. So I felt safe in that studying classical music like that and reading sheet music and knowing like this music is beautiful. All I have to do is just follow it. do what the masters are saying. Yeah. I don't know, that's kind of funny, but I look up to them. Like Chopin is my favorite composer of all time. And it's like, why would I change this? It's perfect. It's brilliant. He's the master. And, now it's funny. I've been seeing videos online about Chopin, like this is how Chopin would have actually played this piece. It's very improvisational. He had the framework, you'll hear a Chopin nocturne of somebody who many generations later studied, this person studied under Chopin and then this person studied under this person, and they've passed down how he would have actually done it. A lot of the ornamentation would have been different every time. So it's like the one that is in the editorial sheet music edition, that's just one way that it was done. Yeah. There's so many, he never would have been played. Like we talk about Led Zeppelin or whatever, like they played it this one way in this one studio recording. Yes. Live, it was never the same. Yeah. That's how these, composers were also doing it a lot of the time. These pianists, whatever, like it blew my mind. I had no idea when I was first studying that music that it was like that. Yeah, there's, you saying all this and it just gives me a billion ideas. But there's have you heard of Mr. Jimmy, the guy who does the Jimmy Page impersonation basically?
And it's just amazing if you're listening, you haven't heard it. There's a movie on him. It's on Netflix.
I haven't seen it.
On Amazon Prime called Mr. Jimmy. And it's this Jimmy Page impersonator. And he does everything like exact. Like from clothing to everything, all the specs on his guitars to like, I'm going to play the Whole Lot of Love recording, but not the way they did it on the first album. I'm going to do it like they did in 1974 on the live version that I got. And like, that's the like he's that detailed with stuff.
It's incredible.
It is. It really is. And you were talking about Chopin being your favorites. Have you ever listened to Dino Lupati play Chopin?
No.
Yeah.
No,
I'm going to show you. You got to check him out. You'll be like, oh my God. It's some of the most beautiful playing I've ever heard of Chopin.
Oh wow. Thank you.
All right. So let's jump ahead a little bit. So you're getting into rock and doing all this stuff. At what point, because I know you were in high school at the time, did you meet the guys and start doing Irrashional? Because that was when I first met you, and way back when, and you were first on the podcast. How did that? I mean, if you want to listen to Irrational, go back to episode 31. We're just kind of jumping into that because I want to kind of focus more on all the stuff Payton's been doing.
Yeah, it's. I joined that band in the summer of 2016.
Okay.
So they were already kind of a thing. There was 4 of us in the band at the time, and I auditioned to be the singer because they had bass, drums, and guitar, and they were playing. They all went to school together at Lake Norman and did the talent show there together and played Rush instrumentally. They did a really cool little medley of Rush, and I saw them at an open mic night that I was attending with, I think, my other band. We had started to kind of do these every so often just to get some experience performing. We were just playing covers, but we'd play 2 songs, and it really just helped us ease our, nerves of performing and just getting to meet people on the scene. That was in Cornelius that we were doing the open mic night there. So I met these guys who we would become Irrational. They were called Rash at the time, short for Rush, because so 2 of the guys were brothers, Christian and Junior. They had just seen Rush live that summer. So it had been so recent. They were just, everything was Rush, and just so inspired and learning all the music. And so that's kind of how they started with the Rush music. And they got to see Rush at Madison Square Garden that year. So that was Rush's R40 tour, the last tour. And so I met them, and there's a little bit of a mini backstory there as well. The bass player for Irrational, Junior, he and I were in another band that Carl started, my teacher, who I mentioned earlier, who put me in my first band. So I was in a couple different bands, my 14, 15, 16 years old. Just mostly playing classic rock stuff. So finding other kids my age who kind of like to do that. And Junior, the bass player for Irrational, was the first person I met who I really clicked with musically, like in terms of the music that we like to listen to. He loved Zeppelin. He loved Pink Floyd. He loved Rush. I didn't love Rush at the time, but we were mostly like, I found my friend who loves Zeppelin. That was like a dream for me. I didn't know any other people my age who loved Zeppelin, so I was just like, this is amazing. And so we played a little bit together. Then I met the other guys at the open mic, and they kind of mentioned, we're looking for a singer. We have this one girl that we're going to audition. And I had done a little bit of singing, but not too much at that point, done some backing vocals, and wasn't super confident. But something clicked when I met them, and they said they were looking for a singer. I was like, okay, and they're going to play Zeppelin and Rush and this music that I love. Like this, like something in me that I previously thought, I'm not ready to sing, I'm not ready to perform in front of people. It all of a sudden was like, I think I'm ready.
Sure. It
just happened. And so I was like, I think I might want to audition. They were like, I don't know, we never really heard you sing. And Junior kind of vouched for me. He was like, no, she's like, give her a chance. And so I learned the 5 Rush songs that they wanted me to come prepared with, and 1 Zeppelin song. And
how come there's not more Zeppelin?
And I was like, dude, the 1 Zeppelin song, I was like, I'm so happy. You know, we played The Ocean. I'm like, oh, such a dream. And I was like, I'll learn the Rush stuff so I can sing the Zeppelin, you know. And then in learning the Rush stuff, I fell in love with it. But it wasn't until we really played it with the band that I realized how good that music is, I guess. I don't know. It just didn't click right away for me. I wasn't super tuned to the prog rock stuff yet. And so my ear kind of get used to that. And I think that just took me a little while, but I quickly fell in love with it, and I auditioned, and we all just clicked as friends, and it was like immediate. Like we just went off from there. That summer we just started learning a bunch of other classic rock stuff, learning a bunch of Rush, learning some Zeppelin. We put together this, what we called the Zeppeli, which was a medley of Led Zeppelin. It was every Zeppelin song that we liked off every album. So it ended up being like a 30-minute long medley.
Oh, wow.
Of pieces of Zeppelin songs. And I don't think we ever played it live because I don't think we were ever able to play it live.
So almost like Rush trying to learn that instrumental of Villa Strangiata.
Yes.
Like we had a. I think Getty said we had a mittavit. We couldn't play it back to back. When we recorded it, we had to record it in sections. It was so hard.
Exactly, that's what it felt like. So, but we were just being creative and just having so much fun with stuff like that. And we ended up playing a few, festivals that year, a few little gigs here and there. We opened for a couple bands, and then it just 2017, the next year, is when we really just were like, we want to do this. Like, we want to gig on the weekends. We want to get together and rehearse every week and do this. And we just had the best time. We really did. It was so much fun.
Yeah, you guys were known around town. Like people were like, oh, Irrational's playing. I think you guys used to play Boatyard and all these places. Like people like, we're going to see them, and you'd get a good crowd. You guys would get a good crowd. Unfortunately, I never got the chance to see you guys. I'd see videos and I'd be like, oh, I gotta, and then of course I've had you on the podcast as a group.
I think you were our first podcast.
Really?
At least one of them. I think you were. Yeah.
Oh,
I think you were the first podcast I was ever on. Like, yeah.
That makes me feel good. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, because you were the one who, invited us on, and now we have this friendship for so many years. So thank you.
Yes, no problem. So you're in Irrational, and at some point that comes to an end. Is that because you guys are all going off to college? You're all getting to college age? Is that got that about right?
Yeah, exactly. That was around the time. So the college decision was hard for us. That 6 months or whatever where you're applying to college, like it's really exciting, but then you realize, wait, okay, we're all applying to different schools. We're trying to figure out what we want to do. We're trying to figure out where the band's going to fit in, because it had become our dream. I don't want to speak for the other guys, but I was pretty confident that, we all want this so bad, and we were having so much fun, and we had started to write music at that point and released a couple EPs. Yeah,
and they were really good.
Thank you. Gosh, thank you so much.
Really good. I went back and listened to them because I saw them on your website, and I was like, this is good stuff.
Thank you. We had fun with it. It was just our first, dipping our toes into songwriting. Yeah. And so we were like, this... It was definitely my dream, and definitely something we all wanted to keep doing. So we were like, how is that going to fit in with college? Should we take a gap year and just, because when you're in high school, obviously you do as much as you can musically, but you still got school. Yeah. And it took up so much of our time that we also were like, what if we just had all day, like, to just work on music? Like, what could we do as a band? What could we, how much could we grow? And so we talked about that. I really liked that idea, but we still applied to college anyways. And then scholarships got involved. And it basically, like, once one of the band members decided, like, no, I'm going to college this fall, then we were all like, well, I guess then we'll go. If he's going, like, we'll go. Yeah, and it's fine, And so I went to UNCG, Christian went to UNCC, Patrick went to Nashville, and that distance was a little bit hard. We were trying to feel like, how could we collaborate online? By that time we all had the technology. We had the Logic Pro.
Sure.
We can all like record stuff and send it to each other. But we were also college freshmen and trying to figure out what that was like. And,
Sure.
you know, so we would talk about doing music and playing gigs. And, you know, it was easier for Christian and I to be like, we'll come home and play gigs on the weekends because we're not that far. I was in Greensboro. It's like, that's an 1.5-hour train ride to Charlotte. Patrick was more like, he's farther away. It's a little bit harder for him to get away and from school. So that all was difficult. And
I imagine you're all building lives where you are. I mean, if Patrick's in Nashville, he's building a life for himself in Nashville with friends, new friends, and you're building a life for yourself in Greensboro with college friends and curriculum and Christian as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we didn't really anticipate that because we were so tight, the three of us, and we were like, with the band, it was all kind of our priority in life in high school that when we went to college, it's like, wait, I guess there are other things that we have got to focus on doing well in class and, you know, getting our homework done. And so by the time, as I was a college freshman, that's when COVID happened in the spring. So that, you know, everybody, had to go online, transition to online college. But then, we weren't gigging at all. Sure. And so with Irrashional, we played like a couple gigs right around that time. And then we had to cancel all our future gigs. And it just had kind of already felt like we were trying to hold it together up until that point. And then when COVID happened, it was like, you know, is this something that we should maybe put on hold for a little while for the project? Or not. And it just kind of ended up falling apart there, which was really sad. I was really sad about it. But
you know, life happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, what is that John Lennon quote? Life happens while you're making other plans. You know? I mean, you're trying to plot things out, and then, you know, you guys are still young, you're figuring out life, figuring out the things that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So let's jump into college for a sec. So you're at college. You're studying music in college, and then you have a arts admin degree?
Yes. Well, I have a degree in music with a minor in arts admin.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what did you study for music? Were you a performance major? Were you a history major? Where'd you land?
I started as a performance major, piano performance.
Classical?
Classical. Okay. Yes. And did that for my freshman year and realized just how much piano it was. Yeah. Like, it was a lot of piano.
No joke.
No, not at all. Like, I have the utmost respect for all the piano performance majors. 'Cause you have to be in that practice room for so many hours a day. Like, they recommend at least 3 to 6 hours a day. And that's on top of, you know, your classes and doing your homework for that. And I was frankly just like, what? Yeah. This is crazy. I think because I came into college as, like, I didn't mention this before talking about Irrational, but I talked about Junior being the bass player for Irrational, but I later became, when he was a year older than us, he graduated, I became the bass player. So I started playing bass and getting really into that. I was singing. I was playing keyboards and piano still, but I was playing guitar as well. Like, I had all these instruments that I was interested in and loved splitting my time between. That when I went to college and it was like piano only, you know, like that's all I have time for. It didn't feel, I wasn't used to that imbalance kind of, and I still had other interests that I was wanting to pursue. And so the performance degree, I learned a lot about myself. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I still am grateful for that year. I studied, I got to study with the same piano professor throughout my college. So even after I ended up changing my degree after my freshman year to just be the BA in music. So that's more of a general music degree. You get a little bit of everything. You still do the music theory, the ear training, the music history, the musicology. And I was like, I wanted to take all of that. And then on top of that, I was able to add a minor when I switched my degree. So I chose arts administration, and that gave me a lot of the arts business classes.
So you had more time because you're not just being all consumed by piano.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you as a music ed, like the music ed and performance degrees, they are like, we do not recommend that you have a minor because it's just not.
Yeah. I was kind of all over the place. Like when I went to undergrad, I did it. They didn't in New York when I went to Stony Brook, they didn't call it. It was just a music degree. It wasn't a performance with a performance emphasis. So that was that. And then when I went to graduate school the first time, because I did two, I'm an overachiever like that. I did my first master's in performance at the Conservatory at Cleveland Institute. And that was the all consuming, like I'm just playing 6 to 8 hours a day. Like that's all I do. And then when I went back the second time, because I realized that this was not going to be the path. Like I saw guys who just blew my doors off. And I'm like, if these guys are not doing well already, I need to do something else. And a friend of mine that I study with, Amanda, just an amazing guitar player. And Amanda's like, yeah, you should do what I'm doing. And I was like, what are you doing? She's I'm going to get my ed degree. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, go over to Case Western, talk to them. I'll hook you up. And I was like, okay. And I was like, and she was amazing, like sound, playing wise. I was like, she's just wonderful. I was like, if she's not doing this, like, and I was quite fortunate to get in. I always just laugh. My friends like, no, you weren't. I was like, I was the worst player in the program. And I don't mean to sound that like I was just a horrible guitar player. Like I could play, I was musical, but I didn't have that technique early on, the technical training that I probably should have. So I was trying to play catch up for a good number of years. Make a long story short.
I love hearing this. So I love your story.
It's different in ed. Ed was a bit different, and you just focused on educational type stuff, conducting, different instruments. And since it was, of course, a master's, it was research. You were researching theories of education and primary teachers who had thinkers in music education. So
that's so cool. Yeah, I mean, I love hearing that your story because I relate to it so much. I definitely felt when I went to UNCG that I was the worst pianist in the studio, which is kind of cool because, I mean, it's like I was in the room with these amazing pianists, conservatory backgrounds.
It's a real kick in the ass.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah. It was incredible. And I loved our studio time where we would like once a week get together and just listen to each other play.
Yeah.
But then I never wanted to play in front. It was kind of like you would volunteer if you wanted to play your rep for everybody. And I loved listening to them and I did not want to play in front of them.
It's, you say that and it's true. For me, the worst part of performing was classical because I played classical, and if you're not familiar with it for piano or guitar, you sit quietly and people who are other instrumentalists in your piano players or guitar players sit there and just watch you.
Yeah.
And listen. And they're very supportive, but you know in their head because you're at a certain age, you're going through it. You're nitpicking everything they do and every choice they make. I wouldn't play that. I wouldn't have played it like that. I would have did this. That's what I would have did. Blah, 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 blah. And I just hated it. To this day, it took me years to get over performance anxieties playing classical guitar, like quiet. To this day, when I'm playing in a bar, if somebody just comes up and starts staring at me when I'm playing, it brings back all that trauma.
Yeah.
And I'm like, stop looking at me. I just want to play these 3 chords.
It really shifts your mindset to like, oh, I'm having so much fun. Like, I'm just playing, to be like, I can't mess up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was very, I was a little bit conflicted. I didn't want to give up on the performance degree because I was like, I said I was going to do this.
Yes. Yeah. We do that.
I was like, I don't want to, because that felt like failing, to just say, well, I'm just not going to do it anymore.
Why does that work with musicians? We set our mind to something and it's like, we're going to see it through no matter what happens. I'm going to finish this.
Yeah. Like that's a good quality to have in some respects. And I'm thankful that I think my parents they're both really hard workers, and they are like, we don't just give up when something gets hard.
Yes.
You know? And I love that they instilled that in me. At least it's still something I'm, like working on, amazing work ethic that my family has. It's like, when it came time to reevaluate how did this year go for me? I got by, I did my juries, I learned my rep, and I looked back and I was like so relieved that it was over. I was like, did I really enjoy myself? Like, am I happy? And, it's like that, like I was happy that I had been able to get by and do it and learn something, but it's like maybe I can learn something and it doesn't have to be this exact degree. Like I can just shift a little bit and be less stressed,
sure,
have more time to pursue these other things in my life that I care about, like being in a band, performing live still, just taking like these other classes. I don't want to be so stressed about getting my homework done while still practicing and all this kind of stuff. I can still study the piano just to a little bit lesser intensity.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, when you put it like that, it's not giving up. It's just shifting and realizing I can be happier and I can do better when I'm not so stressed. So
did you ever think, just out of curiosity, did you ever think that instead of doing the solo performance track, did they have an accompanist track? Because I know when I was in Cleveland, like pianists could take 2 tracks. You could do the soloist, and go do competitions and all that kind of thing and try to be a solo piano performer. Or there were people who did the accompanist track and they accompanied all people who were doing recitals and everything else, and that was their track. There was one girl I went to school with, and I think she's out in California now, and she's a staff accompanist at like UCLA or something like that.
Wow, that's so cool. Not that I know of that they didn't have that track, but I think a lot of the you could get experience by helping your friends. Like I accompanied my roommate played viola. I got to accompany her with her jury and recital, or I guess it was just a jury that she did. Mm-hmm. So I got a little bit of a company experience, but I don't know if that was a track that you could actually pursue as opposed to like doing solo or that. But it did feel kind of solitary, like being a pianist, because you're just in the practice room by yourself for hours if you're working on your rep. And I didn't look forward to that as much. And I looked forward to, okay, like I have a new piece and I'm excited to work on it, but that kind of only got me so far in terms of like, okay, I got a lot of homework and I got to put myself in. Sometimes it would be like my first dorm room in college had practice rooms in it because it was specifically for the music school, which was really cool at UNCG. It was specifically for the arts. So they had a dance little practice studio and music practice room. So all I had to do was go down from the 8th floor to the 2nd floor to go in the practice rooms. It was like very low threshold of like inertia, you know what I mean? Like it shouldn't have been that hard, but it still was. Like I would get my homework done. It'd be 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I'd be like, I gotta go practice in the practice room, And
if it was any easier to have a piano in your room, right?
Yeah, I did actually. I had a keyboard in my room as well, and I would practice on there. But my roommate would she would go to bed or whatever, and she, you know what a keyboard sounds like when you plug your headphones in and you just hear the sound of the keys, padded keys. So she was like, she would joke about falling asleep to that every night. Just like, oh, it's so nice, music is so beautiful. She was awesome. We like, I had an amazing roommate, and she helped me get through those semesters. Like we helped each other, cause it's just a big learning curve when you go to college. Like to especially I was homeschooled through, like half of elements from 4th grade since I graduated high school. So I was homeschooled. So I didn't have, going to class and, whatever. Like it was just different it's different anyways for anybody, but it was really different for me. So
it's
to learn.
To make it understandable to people. It's almost like playing sports, going from little league to middle school baseball to high school, like the players just get better. So you're plucked from a certain little area in Charlotte and you're like, oh, I'm kind of doing pretty good. And then you get thrown in and you're like, oh, I'm at University of Greensboro and studying piano. Oh, there's a whole bunch of people who really do this.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of did it. That's the way I felt anyway. I was like, I kind of did it. I went to, where I was and I was okay with the other people in my program. And then I got thrown in graduate school with guys who no, they really knew what they were doing. And I was like, oh crap.
Yeah. It's so true. Like they were competition winners, like national competing in these world competitions. And I'm in their studio with them. And it's like, whoa, it's cool. Like I said, it's cool to be from different backgrounds. You get to learn, what do you do? What do you do? Oh, wow. I love that. And they were so nice. We would hang out and I became friends with them. But when it came to, let's get together and practice our rep together, I was like, I don't want to play. And unfortunately, that's when I started comparing myself to them. I didn't really have that problem in high school. Like, I think maybe because I did something kind of unique to other people that I knew. I was playing in a band. I was playing this music. Like, I didn't worry too much about how I stacked up against other people. Really, I was more like, we're in our own little band. We're doing our own little thing. And when I got to college,
that happens.
I was like, they're so much better than me. They're at so much of a more advanced level than me. They're playing more advanced rep than me. Just everything, and they're practicing more than me. They seem like they have it together more than me. It started to bleed over into other things that I was like I started to feel really insecure about. And, that ended up being something that I kind of struggled with through all of college, was this feeling of like not, comparing myself and not being good enough, not stacking up to other people. And it's just like, that makes me sad to even say, because I never wanted to be that way. I always was like, it's like, what do I want to do? And like, I need to set my own goals and just achieve those goals. And like, I guess I did that in a way. I wanted to do well in school. I studied hard and I got my work done, and I played in a band and I was gigging and I was doing all those things. But, then it came to, oh gosh, like I wish I was a better pianist. And
yeah, but I have a friend of mine, good friend. He is a guy I studied with in grad school at Cleveland, Jason Vio, and he's Grammy Award classical guitar player. Tours all over the world, albums, everything. Just an amazing musician and guitar player. And he once told me, he's like, Matt, what I do is a laser focus. Like, this is all I do, And you just have to, I think as a musician, you have to kind of take an understanding of like, it's not that you can't play music and you can't have this broad appeal, but if you want to be a classical pianist and this is the only thing you want to do, that's the laser focus it's going to take. And man, that's a lot. I mean, just that one little thing, or guitar. And I realized at a certain point, and probably you did the same thing, it was like, this is not the be all end all of the only thing that I want to do in music. Like, I just don't see myself doing this.
Yeah, that's so important, everything you just said. And it's true. I have so many interests, not just in terms of how many instruments I'm interested in playing, but even beyond music. Like, I have other interests, and that did become apparent to me. Like, that's me, and that's okay. I don't have to be, like when I decided to pivot and change from a performance degree to just a music degree, it was like, this fits me better. Yeah. Like, this is who I am, and that's okay that I'm not like them. They're amazing. I look up to them. Like the other people in my studio, I look up to my professor, who is an amazing pianist. And also, what was really cool about him, Dr. Salmon, shout out, he is an incredible classical pianist and incredible jazz pianist.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he encouraged me, like, it's okay to pivot. He's like, I have multiple interests. I love classical and jazz, and he knew, like, I love this classical music and I love rock music. And he encouraged that in me. And, I'm really thankful I had that guidance from my professor who saw that in me and could relate to that and encouraged me to make the right decision. But yeah, it's like, if anybody's listening, like, I like, it's okay, like, be you, if that's you, if you have multiple interests, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Do all the things, like, find time for them, or it's beautiful to be that way. And if you have that one thing, like, I was just listening to a little interview with Taylor Swift, and she said, I guess the interviewer asked, like, how do you have time to do all these things? Cause she's just, she did the tour, and then she's writing albums constantly, and she's baking bread. Like, she's been the kind of, like, posting about her other, like, her little hobbies and stuff too. And so he's like, how do you have time to do all this? And she's like, no, writing songs is the only thing I do. She's like, that is my thing, my one thing that I don't remember if she said, like, that I'm good at or that I love, but she's like, that's my one thing. And that, like, hearing that from her too was really cool, because she's obviously brought in her other interests into her music and is who she is as an artist. But, like, she's written so many songs, like, that's her thing, And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I see where I'm a little bit different. Like, I have multiple interests and things that I'm really passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
I love music and I like writing songs, and it's something that's becoming more of a passion of mine. But, I love expressing myself in different ways, artistically and whatever. So that was just it's really reassuring to, like, hear different points of view and hear an artist who you look up to and, like, I could never be like them, and them say, well, we are different, and that's why I'm never going to be exactly like them, and that's okay. For one way or another. And it's just reassuring to get away from that comparison.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I want to talk to you about, we talked about it briefly before we started recording, was just how you feel now that you're done with studying college and music. Do you feel that it was worth it? Like, because I look at it, and I went to school 25 years ago, right? Put it in perspective. Before the music industry had completely changed. Like, I almost feel like there was some hope of, making it, doing recordings and, doing this kind of other stuff going on. And I look back on it, and although I have some regrets, I would not change it. I've really enjoyed my time in school, but I'm always curious to talk to a younger musician who went to school and is probably a more recent grad like you, and how you feel about the time you spent, because I've been obsessed with the topic lately, and I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about, is music school worth it? Particularly today, not so much like 25 years ago when I went, but is it worth it for younger people to go to school for music? Because the music industry has changed so much, and it's so difficult to chart out a career today, as you already know, all the stuff that you do. How do you feel about it? Your time in music school, you learned a lot, I'm sure, but tell me. Fill me in.
I love that you're asking this, because it's making me think back and reflect. From my perspective, like, music now, like, the idea of how to become an artist and how to become successful in the music industry today, it's so focused on doing it yourself.
Yes.
It's like, you see the content on YouTube, social media, and these people who are making content about it, they're all, like, encouraging you, this is how to DIY, DIY your brand, DIY your recordings, do it at home, mix it yourself, promote it yourself, make your videos on social media yourself. Like, that it's so encouraging to be like, oh, I can do all this. They're not saying, step 1, go to music school, step 2, graduate, and then you can become successful. Like, that's not really what the narrative is that I'm seeing. But I'm really, really glad that I did go to music school and did that in college and did all 4 years. And I learned so much that it pushed me in a way that I know I wouldn't have pushed myself if I was just trying to DIY something in its place. But it's what I needed. I truly believe that, you don't need a music degree to become successful in the music industry from
especially today,
my
right?
limited experience. Yeah. Like, I mean, I've heard stories and I know people who didn't go to college and who are amazing producing their own music and becoming successful. Like, it's so cool, but, it's more about, to me, what do you want to learn and how do you want to accomplish that?
Right.
It's not so much like I need a music degree to matter, to be able to do something, maybe.
Well, because the bottom line is when you go for whatever, let's say I'm going for a gig at a bar or a restaurant. Nobody's saying, did you get your bachelor's degree, to come play for us tonight? Yeah. They're looking at your videos. They're looking at your website.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. I guess that's why it feels, like it's not so much about the degree, but I learned so much from my ear training class, my, musicology class, like my theory class.
Right.
Those were like transformative. I did not really have a great ear when I went into college. I learned that pretty quickly.
And you know what?
Like,
you say that?
What's that? Was that fifth or the third or what? I don't know. Okay.
Well, I'll say, I just think that, my own little take on it, and because you brought it up, I was awful at ear training, and I think that it is, the way they teach it is just wrong.
Oh yeah, really?
I think it should be completely different. And I don't think it, I think the way they do it, where it's just this, it's almost like a McDonald's in a sense. It's like, this is how we teach ear training. This is how everybody goes through the training. I plunk out these intervals. You have to figure them out. Like, no, I learned so much. My ears developed so much more as a music educator because I'm singing certain songs and I'm doing certain things with my kids. Like, those are the kind of things I feel like should be more emphasized. And I understand they only have 4 years to do it, but I think kind of the way they do it currently is not the best.
That's so interesting. Like, it'd be so cool to just do you could do a whole podcast about that, I'm sure, talking about that. I mean, ear training was definitely the hardest part of the musical training of, I think, all the classes you have to take that are required.
Yeah.
I mean, I had some classes that were maybe a little bit harder work, like the history, my music history class. My first one that was like all the early and ancient music was that was a really hard class. So there were maybe harder classes here and there, but altogether the ear training was like, because I felt like a kindergartner when I went in that first class. Yeah. And they're all doing solfege. I didn't know solfege. I knew Sound of Music, Do a Deer, but that's all. And so, and there was choir people. There were people who had actually studied this in high school from different arts high school and whatnot. And I was just like, whoa. I just feel like I got, I don't know if I'm behind or what, but I just got to keep up. And so the amount of growth that I had going to ear training was really, exciting actually, because I saw it reflected in the way that I worked when I was learning music for the band.
Right. Or,
hey, can you write a harmony part for this vocal line that we're doing, or figure out the harmony part? Bless you.
Thanks.
That I was like, I'm learning songs so much faster now.
Right.
Or I'm able to hear parts that before would be like, I don't know, write a harmony, I guess go on the piano and go up a third and just play the melody and oh, that doesn't sound good. Okay. I don't know why. Let's figure it out. Now it's like, okay, I get it. I get how intervals play with each other. Right. and how, that all works. I loved that. It was very hard at the time, but I'm so happy that I had that training. So, it pushed me, and my teachers, they did push me in a way that I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I'm ready for this, but let's just go with it and just try to do it. So, theory was that way too. We learned a lot and, got exposed to a lot of different, they were trying to make it not just so classical focused, Western music focused.
Okay.
They were obviously, that's the curriculum. It's very influenced by Western traditions. But my teachers tried to expose us to different things. Like my musicology class was all about world music. And so I learned a lot there, and just that, all that input, like that was even just all my first couple of years of school were, I noticed so much growth as a musician in myself. So in a short amount of time, because college, you're just doing like a semester, second semester, like you notice rapid growth by going to music school for sure.
Well, I'm just interested to find out, because when I was in school, it was a certain way. It doesn't sound like the college experience for music has changed all that much. And I'm wondering, was there a lot of preparation for getting out and utilizing these skills? Like, were they like, did you have a website building class on how to market yourself as a musician? Was there recording classes for you as a musician to go learn how to do home recording so that you can record yourself, or video, or, you know, is there that kind of stuff to prepare you when you're done?
A little bit, actually. Not, I would say my first couple years were really focused on building your skills as a musician.
Yeah.
And then because of I chose to add the arts administration minor. I'm really thankful I did that, because it was a lot of business school classes.
Okay. And
that I feel like prepared me more than the music degree. Although I did take a couple like music adjacent electives. Like I took this one called Entrepreneurship in the Performing Arts, which was in music school. But it was like what it sounds like, you know. And there was all kinds of different musicians in that class. There were jazz, opera, you know, just classical soloists. I was kind of approaching at that point as like, I play rock music. And they were like, you know, you're an entertainer, not a musician.
Oh, that's not even good. No way.
But no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm, you know, it's all funny. But those classes
they're
really
all
help.
Entertainers. They are. I mean, I don't care if you're classical. You are a musician, but you are an entertainer. I mean,
yeah, right. It's not a bad thing. I think entertainment, I'm like, that's I'm okay being an entertainer. I love entertaining people. But those, I would say the arts administration classes, they were not necessarily for musicians, but there was a lot of like, you know, we did a lot of work in terms of like learning about nonprofits in the arts and fundraising and like, you know, different roles in that world. So they were very focused on, hey, like real world application with that. And I was able to take that, even though they weren't just, if you're a musician, this is what you should do when you get out of school. It was just like, hey, if you're in the arts, like this is kind of how it works on the business side of things. And I was able to take that and be like, okay, how can I apply that to me as a musician? And then, and I feel like it really prepared us. We did talk about marketing a lot, you know, cause that's in the arts.
It's important.
You know, and that comes with, like social media a lot now. So we did talk about that. Like we studied a lot of different organizations. How do they do their social media? How do they have their website? How do they sell their tickets? So we really, even though I don't remember doing like an exact website building exercise, I was building a website for myself at that time. And I was able to take, okay, we're researching how this organization did their website. Maybe I can do something like that, even though they're a dance company and I'm a musician, but this really grabbed me about how they laid their website out or whatever, how they connected all their socials, or how they drew me in with this video that they made, for promotional or whatever. So that arts administration degree was so, even though it was just degree, it was a minor, was so important, I think, in supplementing what I wasn't necessarily getting from just my music degree. So all in all, I felt pretty confident being like, I think I can make a career out of this. Like, I didn't feel like I was graduating like, oh, now what do I do?
Well, I mean, I know that like going to school for music in a certain way is you are getting exposed to all these things in music and they're just hitting you with all these things. I just think on a certain level, you're going into a field like it's vastly changing like exponentially. Really quickly. Even when I went to music ed, when I finished, one of my professors, great guy, very knowledgeable, he had said, you need to pull out make a portfolio so that when you go on in a job interview, you have this portfolio of stuff that you've, doing for the principals or, whoever the school district you're interviewing for. I'm like, okay, well, things had just started to change at that time. People were doing cell phones. So this is the early 2000s. I went back to him, when I graduated. I was like, just so you know, I didn't do one interview in person. Everything was on the telephone. And nobody asked me for a portfolio. And I didn't mean to sound like a jerk, but I was just like, your way of thinking might be a little old school. Like nobody's asking you for that, So, and I relate that to music schools. Like some schools, maybe, I don't know, because that's why I'm asking somebody younger than me, may not be thoroughly preparing somebody for the realistic music industry that you are coming out of school facing, particularly as a classical musician, right? I mean, that's completely different.
Yeah.
And now, since you've done the general music path, you feel even more prepared probably.
Yeah. It would be interesting to know if I was full sending, wanting to be a classical pianist. Like, it would be interesting to talk to my friends that were doing that, following that path, that were like good enough to be a concert pianist, and see like what they decided to do and how they figured it out. Because
if they did.
Or or if they pivoted and were like, that's not viable, or I don't want to do that. I want to do this instead. Like, it would be so interesting to see where they all ended up. And unfortunately I didn't keep in contact with all of them, but yeah, it's like, I know probably, well, obviously for me, I couldn't have anticipated what I'm doing now when I graduated.
Right.
I was, as much as I was like, oh, I didn't graduate, but like, what am I going to do now? Of course, you have a little bit of that feeling like, oh gosh, now I have my, nobody's telling me what to do. You're
not graduating with an accounting degree where you go to a law firm and say, or an accounting firm and say, hey, I'm an accountant now. I'm looking for an internship, blah, 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 blah. Or a lawyer. I'm going to go to a law firm. You're a musician. What do I do now?
Yeah, there's definitely some of that. I was very fortunate in that when I graduated, well, first of all, COVID had kind of, things had opened back up. It was a couple of years after, or a few years after. So, I'm gigging again pretty regularly with the project that I was with at the time. And so I didn't feel like I had nothing going on. I was like, okay, I graduated. I have some gigs coming up this summer. Like, I'm doing what I love to do. And now I just got to figure out what I'm going to do in between. Cause you have gigs on the weekends. I was like, what am I going to do during the week? What am I going to put together?
How am I going to make money?
yeah, definitely that. And figuring out like what do I want to do as an artist, like creatively? Okay, I'm doing these songs, I'm playing this music with the band, but it was just covers, and it was fun. But it's like, do I want to do something creative? It's like all these questions you still get to ask yourself. And in the arts, I think they try not to limit you so much that it's like you can do whatever you put your mind to, like, so that's good. But it can be like, well, how can I, like, everybody's path is so unique. You just kind of have to pull from, I talked to this person and they did this and that's really inspiring. Like, I want to do this. Maybe I could kind of do it like they did it, and then it's like constantly, like you said, educating yourself on how do you do that now? Like, I want to release music. How do I do that now? I mean, the last time I released, a single was, cause I'm getting ready. Well, I just released one now. When this podcast, I guess, comes out, I'll have just released one, but I'm going through the process of distributing again independently. It's like, man, I did that in 2022, but that was a long time ago. Yeah. Like, things are even different from then. And I've learned a lot since then. So yeah, you have to constantly be self-educating. And I think that with, like, talking about in school is when you go to college, you have to be a self-learner in a way, anyways.
Yes.
Like, you have professors, they're teaching you, but there's so much about the experience and being a college student that you're also just learning how to learn better. And I definitely did. You're learning about how you work best and stuff. So you're constantly kind of adapting to these things that are being thrown at you and learning how to learn basically and get them done and develop yourself. So don't stop that when you graduate music school. Right. That's just the beginning of you learning that as an artist.
Be a lifelong learner.
Definitely. So that's very important. I feel like now the fun thing is being out of school. It's like I can educate, I can learn about the things that I'm really interested in or things that I feel like are directly going to benefit me. Like right now it's music distribution and social media. That's something that I'm trying to up my game on. So it's like my study on that is very focused, and there's thankfully a lot of resources online, but there's so much at the same time that it's like, how do you sift through it? If there's people saying you got to do this or you got to do this, it's like, how do I know? And a lot of it's trial and error.
I'm even skeptical of some of the people when I watch some videos and they tell me what to do, and I'm like, who are you? Like, who are you? You might have a little bit of information, but I don't know if you're a multi-millionaire who's done this for 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like.
Music industry expert. Okay.
Yeah, I'm skeptical. Like there's this one woman, she's online and I'll listen to her because she's a music lawyer, entertainment lawyer. And I'm like, okay, I'll listen to what she's got to say because she's got at least got her law degree sitting in the back, you know, and she does some good stuff. And I'm like, all right, that's interesting. But some guys were telling you how to navigate social media sometimes. I'm always like, who's giving me the advice? I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're a guy with the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like this worked for you. And I could do everything that you did. I could upload 100 videos like you said and make them really good quality. And it's like, it may not work out the same way. Like there's no formula that you follow to be successful in music. And, it's hard. Like a lot of my people that I look up to, I'd maybe consider mentors or whatever, like they're coming from all different places, but they're also doing it, like trying to write original music, trying to get a record deal, getting a record deal, doing the whole thing, like whatever path they followed in the 80s or whatever. So it's like, then they always say, well, it's so different now. Like it's so much worse, you know? And I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know. You know, like with streaming and everything, it's so much I don't know if it's harder or easier. It's like, I think we're lucky that you can do it independently. You can distribute music. Like everybody's got shot in a way, like you can put it out there and promote it. And if you can get people's attention on social media, it might blow up. Like you could be nobody and your song could blow up. But at the same time, it's like, there's so much noise at the same time. So,
I've said it before. I've had conversations with a lot of musicians before. I might even said it last month on the podcast. I think my theory is there was a golden age of recording for music where musicians could put out music and make a lot of money from music. And that date might be, let's just say from 1960 or 1955 to 2005. And since streaming and all that happened, that era of music is gone. It is not coming back. And musicians have to go back to what they did previously, maybe even all the way back to classical musicians. Like they have to write, publish, put a whole bunch of stuff. You have to put all this stuff together because I don't think the industry is going to be able to recoup that recording where you're making money from just your recordings the way it was. And if it is, that's great. I don't know what format that's going to take, but currently, given this streaming model, which is not going away anytime soon, and especially that musicians are not willing to not stream their music, you know, all right, well, at least I'm out there, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows? But I think that era is gone. It's going to be just strictly live performing.
That's such an interesting take. I see exactly what you're saying. I mean, it's with streaming, I definitely see where we can't compare it to, like putting out a record or selling CDs or whatever. Like, it's so different and, it's so accessible for people to listen to your music, but us as an artist, we don't make money off of it really as much. So it's like, you can't really count on blowing up and getting the tens of millions of streams that would allow you to like make a living off of it. That's such a select few of people who that happens to. Not that you can't say if it happened to happen, it'd be amazing.
Sure.
But I think we do have to like zoom in a little bit more and say, like, as an artist, you can be successful in the music industry or just like as a musician. Like you said, performing, like putting out music, creating a small, like, group of people who love what you do and are really passionate about it. It doesn't have to be like either become famous or I failed. Like
Right.
that has been kind of eating at me. The idea of, you know, you have this small window where it seems like you have a chance to like become an idol or a pop sensation or something like they see in the industry, like, okay, this is what's really popular right now. And like, oh, maybe if I do that, then I'll like, if I do it now, then people will like it and I'll become big. Like I feel like something in my mind was programmed to think that success equaled worldwide.
That's
I
all
don't
of
say
us.
fame,
That's-
but
yeah.
like, you know, obviously if you become famous because you reached a lot of people, you touched a lot of people, it's like, but if you don't reach that, and I've heard other musicians say that too, like if I didn't do that, then I wasn't successful. I didn't achieve that. And it's like,
But that's like 1%.
that's yeah,
or less,
less.
than, it's like 0.5% or 0.25% of bands. Like, I remember hearing in the 80s, like, 0.1% of bands, you know, become that big band. How many bands were in LA, you know, at that time and then across the country? And then you multiply that across the world. And how many bands were actually blew up to become a big band from the 80s? Let's just say like a Motley Crue or something like that.
Yeah.
Not many.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
Motley Crue.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And you can almost equate it to being like a an actor, right? How many actors go on to become the Brad Pitts or the Angelina Jolies or world famous actors making millions of dollars off that? But there are tons of actors who are character actors who you've seen them a billion times in movies, but you might not know their name. They're doing dinner theater and they're doing voiceover. You know, I think this is the thing musicians, since we're talking about it, we get in this head, if we're not dominating the world, that's it, you know? But there's just so much else that you can do to make a living and enjoy yourself doing music. And if you can get the idea of like world domination out of your head, I think you'll get out of your own way, you know, as long as you're happy doing music.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, earlier we were talking about like following your passion and being happy and like kind of in a way putting that first as a musician. I think that's so awesome. Like, you know, like so I'm pointing to it, but you showed me your oud earlier when I got to your house, and it's like, that is so cool. You're like, I want to connect to my roots. I want to play this instrument. I want to learn about it. I want to maybe like see what I can do. If I can do like some special gigs where I'm just playing this instrument, and learning that is so cool and so valuable and truly a passion. Like, more of that. And I feel like I followed that a lot when I was a teenager. It's like, I'm playing piano. I want to play guitar.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. I'll join a group. Let's do some gigs. Let's play some Zeppelin. I want to play some Chopin now. I want to play some, you know, Rush or Genesis, like, because I can play classical like that. Like, I was just following what I was interested in, and it was so much fun and like so rewarding. And now I think I'm trying to return to that, like truly, like just that really true joy and not worrying about the success aspect of it. Like, I'm starting to write music now and asking like, who is Payton as an artist? Well, she already exists. It's me. There's nothing that needs to be developed or whatever. It's more just, if anything, uncovering it or not being shy to see it in myself or to discover it. But it's like, these things I'm passionate about playing all these instruments. I'm passionate about different genres of music. Like, let's do it. Like, do it all in a really fun and funky, original combination of a way. And that's pretty cool. And if there's a few people out there in the world that could think what I'm doing is cool and we could relate on it, like we could have a conversation together, we can have an exchange of energy with it.
Yep.
That is success to me. And I never want to, I'm saying that because sometimes I wake up and I'm super anxious, and I've been like anxious a lot lately, and I'm like, I want to return to that. And I want to keep reminding myself that that is success to me. It's not selling a million of something. Like, that would be amazing, but it would also be amazing to have a true connection with one person because of a song I wrote.
Yeah.
That is like, that really does mean the world to me. When I put a song out and somebody's like, I listened to that song this morning and it made me feel like I could get through the day. Yeah. Whoa. Okay. That's amazing.
There's this thing I always think about is, if you, what's that saying? If you shoot for the stars but you only reach the moon or whatever, yeah. You know, you reach on for something. And I always think to myself, if you don't have that high goal to reach, you may not try to reach the other stuff. And you might find all this other stuff in between while you're trying to get to that one goal, and realize that the end goal, although it's great, you know, I want to sell 1 million albums and tour the world and make $1 billion and be on the magazines and have everybody idolize me. But that wasn't the reason you got into it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it wasn't.
And one thing I learned as I got older doing music, of course, I started with that, you know, lofty goal, but it turned out to be like, I really enjoy being more of a local musician, like, and being, I'm not saying I'm even famous in the Charlotte community, you know?
Yeah,
but
absolutely well known.
But I do know people in the community, and
he's being humble, guys.
You know, and I get to influence kids, you know, through teaching and performing. I get to meet wonderful musicians like yourself and everybody else who's been on the podcast, and, you know, just talk to people about what we do. And that, to me, starts to become really special, and you leave your stamp in something else, and you might not even know about that for another few years. You know what you did and how you did it. But if you put yourself out there and you go to learn and develop as a musician, because hopefully you didn't just finish music school and go, I'm done, I'm a musician now. You know, you realize I got to get out and I got a lot of learning to do.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it just felt like one, you know, part of my learning career and my music career. Like, and obviously that looks different for everybody. And, yeah, I feel like I'm learning just as much or more. I mean, I don't know. That sounds kind of cheesy. That sounds like cliche. But like then when I was in college or in high school, like I just keep learning more and I keep kind of, probably like when you were in higher education, like, you know, you kind of narrow your focus into things that like, this is something I'm really interested in and really passionate about, and I want to learn about this one specific thing. Like college, when I went in for the general music, you're doing all this music history. You're doing like capstone. I did my capstone project like on ancient Greek music. Like there's all these, like that was something that was a huge interest of mine. Sure. I almost thought I was going to minor in anthropology because I was so interested in that. I took archaeology class. I loved anthropology. And I was thinking about how can I combine that with music? And so it was a big period of discovery for me. Like, whoa, I didn't really know that was a deep interest of mine, but in college I found out that it was like, yeah, this historical music is really cool. I never knew about that until I got to college and learned about it. So that was just like, look at all the things that you can learn about, you know, and here, let's expose you to as much as possible and write about them. I got more comfortable as a writer in college because I hated writing in high school. I saw it as just a very laborious task. And in college, it was like, oh, they want to know about how I feel about something. And this is my opportunity to think about it and share that with people. Sure. So like when I so that was my mindset. It's like now, yeah, it's just an extension of all that. But I don't know. I don't mean to keep returning to the college conversation, but It was really, for all those reasons, it's so valuable to me and so important. And
that's good to hear.
Thank you. Yeah. And I didn't mention this, but we did talk about it earlier, and I think it's important to mention before we move on from talking about cult music school or whatever, is like financially, I don't know, maybe people will even try to talk you out of it because you're like, I had people say, how much money are you going to make as a musician? You know, like, and then you worry, okay, college is expensive. Like, is it worth paying for music school and then I'm going to come out and be a musician. Like, it's not, I guess, because music, following a path in music, it's not a guaranteed. Like we were saying, it's not, I'm going to get this job and it's going to pay me this much. So I'm going to, you can all plan it out.
Right.
What's your 5-year plan? Like 5-year plan in music is hard. And, so that can be scary. And, I feel like when I applied for colleges, I had no idea where I was going to end up. I didn't have a dream school and I applied to a lot of colleges, probably too many, but I like having options, and UNCG was not something
I
mean, I guess it was on my radar, but I wouldn't have bet that I was going to end up there. My first visit was like, okay, you know, it was nice, beautiful campus, nice people. And then they, I don't know if I should even say this, but then they offered me a scholarship.
That's
and I
great.
was like, let me narrow it down to the schools that did not offer me a scholarship and that I didn't really connect with as much. I went back to NCG knowing, okay, like, it was an academic scholarship, thankfully. So it was like my tuition was paid for. And I was like, it made me see it in a different light. I was like, wait, this school, this could be something, this could be really good. And then I got a music scholarship there and, for my audition, and it just made it really viable. And then seeing in that light, and then I spent more time there. I connected with the professors. It just ended up being a really good fit, but it was from a practical standpoint. It wasn't really immediately like, oh, this is my dream school. Like, oh, this is the best music. It is a very good music school, but I didn't really have, any expectations going into the whole college search. But as it developed and it came, like, I did want to weigh, I did want to make a good financial decision as a student going in for music or anything, whatever I was going to choose to study. And, that took a lot of pressure off me when I was in school. I thankfully was not to have to worry so much about, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna have to make a lot of money coming out of school because I'm like, oh, this, whatever. So,
well, that's a real thing. I mean, look, I get to honestly tell you, it took me 20 years to pay off my student loans. And being a young person today, you don't want to be saddled with that kind of debt. Like if you can get scholarships or go to, instead of going to the big name school, go to a smaller name school where I was here, podcaster Dave Ramsey does a financial podcast. He always says, I never walked into my doctor's office and asked him when we went to school. Like, it's not a thing. You know, I don't do that with my dentist. I don't do it with my doctor. Nobody at my school where I teach has ever asked me when I went to college. It's
kind of funny.
You know?
I guess it does feel more like that when you're in high school applying for college. Like, I want to go to, like, you know.
Because it's a name.
And I did have a little bit of that, which is kind of funny. Like you know, I was a good enough student that I wanted to, I want to get into the hard schools.
Right.
Like, gosh, that's embarrassing to say, but it's like I wanted to be like, I got into Chapel Hill or Duke or whatever. Like I wanted to apply to them just like I could be like, because I did. And so UNCG was like not necessarily one of those schools that it's notoriously like hard to get into or whatever. And so it's just kind of funny, but I'm glad that my parents really helped me work through that whole, like, how are you feeling about college? Like, we want to make good decisions. Okay. And it was like, yeah, you want to make the best decision for you and for future you, and like go somewhere where your education is what you make of it. That was something that they really inspired in me too. It's like, if you go there, you connect with the people there, you connect with the professors there. All of these schools have amazing faculty, amazing people that are there. Like you're going to be surrounded by intelligent, incredible musicians wherever you go. And that's just the truth. So it's like, it's what you make of it. If you go there and you work hard and you network and make friends and collaborate and do all this, like you're gonna have a good education anywhere. So think about like making also a good financial decision. You'll take a lot of pressure off you. So I'm really glad they gave me that advice. And so I picked UNCG. I loved it. I'm like, I wouldn't have wanted to go anywhere else. I loved the school. I loved my time there. And I think that for anybody listening, like if you're in that period of life now, like you'll end up where you're meant to end up, and you'll feel hopefully good about it.
You can learn
it anywhere.
Just make, I think also just make good financial choices in that sense. Like, just cause I know, like, I just give you a quick example. Having gone to Cleveland Institute of Music, right? And I went for grad school, but if you were to go there now, it's $40,000 a year. If you went for 4 years and you didn't get a scholarship, it's $160,000 as a musician that you have to pay back.
That's a little scary.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Even if you were fortunate enough to get half of that tuition, you know, in scholarships, $80,000, right?
Yeah. I'm going to be honest,
it's a lot of money.
It took a lot of pressure off me when I came out of school to be like, now what? It wasn't, I gotta make money.
Yeah.
I wasn't and thankfully I'm also I'm so blessed in my situation with my family. Like, I moved back home and I'm happy to say that. Like, I was in Greensboro. I didn't feel a deep connection there. I was more connected here in Charlotte. So I wanted to come back, and I was like, yeah, I have an amazing like setup at home and I'm really comfortable there and like artistically. So I went home and I was able to be like, what do I want to do as a musician? It wasn't like I have to get a job and hopefully do music on the side. Like, coming out of music school, that was such a blessing.
Right.
Because I was primed up to be like, I just studied music. Like, I want to do music, and I want to do music full time, ideally. I mean, I know I'm so privileged and like fortunate to have that opportunity, you know, to be in that position. It's like, I'm so grateful, and I'll make the most of it. And so I was playing gigs and making money, but it was like all the money that I made, it was like, okay, I can invest it and I can put it towards more music and stuff, you know. I didn't feel like I was behind in that regard. So that was a real blessing. The past, I guess, going on 3 years that I've been graduated, I've been able to do music full time and focus on that and just build it. And all the money that I make is like, you know, now just going towards me living and doing that. And
so it begs the question, what did you do when you got out of school? I mean, you got home, you started thinking about stuff. Since 3 years, right? You've been done? Almost 3 years?
Yeah.
So a lot has happened since that time. I've been kind of following your career because we're friends on Facebook and I see posts and things that you do. So when you got out, where did you land? What did you start doing?
Well, I was gigging with the kind of second iteration of DiCarlo at that time, which was a band. DiCarlo is a band that I joined when I was in college. My freshman year, I joined them.
Oh, okay.
And was gigging with them. And they were doing basically all local stuff, all Charlotte. So I would take the train home from school, gig with them on the weekends. So that had...
Cover band,
okay. Yeah. So the singer... Tommy DiCarlo, who the band's named after, and his son Tommy DiCarlo Jr. are in the band together. They're Tommy DiCarlo is the singer for
Boston.
Boston was the most recent singer for Boston, and so we did all of Boston tunes or most of them, and then of course it was like we do 3-hour gigs, so it was like we're doing a lot of classic rock stuff mixing. We do Foreigner sticks, you know, all that kind of stuff. But it was all covers. It was fun. It was a good thing for me while I was in school because I felt like I was putting what I was learning to use because I was out there gigging and performing. And
was there a change in your learning process, having come from Irrashional, doing covers with those guys, and then going to DiCarlo? Was there, you know, did you have to do a mind switch where like, this is a step up, or was it like a lateral move? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, that's a good question. Well, first, I guess I played bass in Irrashional and sang, and in DiCarlo I played guitar and keyboards and did backing vocals and a couple songs on lead.
Okay.
So, I was playing different instruments, I guess. So there was a little bit of shifting there, but like programming the keyboards and learning some of these keyboard solos. And like, I hadn't really done stuff like that before. Right. I had done a little bit of keys.
Is that where the ear training came in?
The ear training was so helpful. Ear training was so helpful. And I was learning those songs for that band while I was in those classes. So it was like,
oh, that's great. Okay.
You know, it was actually really helpful. And, but otherwise I would say, Irrashional, we were we were taking the songs and we were kind of like, being a little bit more creative, a little bit more loose with the structures, or like tying different songs together, doing medleys, let's put a little bit of this in the middle of this song and then go back out. We were very kind of creative in that way. And then with DiCarlo, they were very like, we want to play these songs as close to the record as possible.
There's always two schools of thought for that. So I guess since you brought it up, which do you prefer? Do you prefer being exact, or do you prefer being a little more loose with your stuff?
I don't know. Let me think about that, because like I said earlier with the classical piano study, I like rule fall. I like, hey, this is what we're supposed to do. Right. But I think it's more, so I don't dislike that. I don't dislike, hey, listen to the record and try to get it as exact as possible. Yeah. That's kind of a fun challenge. To me, that's more of an intellectual challenge.
Gotcha.
And the other one's more of a creative challenge. It's like, feels like two different sides of the brain. I think being creative with it is a little bit more fulfilling as an artist, to be like, we did something kind of unique or original with this. It feels good to execute a song to the best you can possibly do it. Like, hey, this is especially like we were playing Boston, it was the guitar harmonies. You can't improvise that kind of stuff, you know? It's like you got to learn it note for note, and you wouldn't want to change it because it's so well written. So I did like learning those and trying to, I would say perfect them, but you know, get them really good, and then doing it every night was fun.
Just because I play doing solo acoustic stuff, I like to take I'm one person. So like I take liberties with some of the songs, you know. Yeah. I may extend the solo, I may change the rhythm because I have to sing it and I can't play everything exactly like a record. Yeah. That I have to sing. I don't know. And that's a question I'd love to ask you anyway.
You have to comp a lot of stuff, I'm sure, when you're making your own version of it for an acoustic.
Do you have that problem at all? Like, sorry, I'm just going off the
No, please. I love it.
Do you have that problem at all when you're playing guitar, bass, or keyboards for that matter, that there's some parts that you can't play and sing at the same time, or that you find really difficult? I know playing guitar, I could easily say in my duo that I've been playing with my friend John for years. There's stuff I'd be like, dude, why don't you sing this? Cause I can't play this guitar part and sing it at the same time. Yeah. Any difficulty there, or is it not an issue?
I think, it's not easy to do, two instruments at once or two things at once. I would say I enjoy the challenge of trying to figure out like how to, like with the bass especially, it's like you're doing its own line and then your voice is doing its own line. So like like your mind can only kind of focus on one at a time. Like it feels like you're trying to do both. So how does that feel in my brain? Like how can I make it work? How can I figure out like where does it intersect where it's really hard to get the rhythm? Like the bass is doing one rhythm, the vocals are doing another. Yeah. I love working on that kind of stuff. I would say, I'm trying to think, like, what would be hard is doing, like, a guitar lead, probably, and having to sing a lead, maybe. Like, you know, that would be hard. I would say, like, doing rhythm is easier to sing and play. I would say most of the stuff I do now has been challenging to learn how to sing and play, but the more I work on it, the more I'm able to find that place in my brain where it's like, okay, this makes sense now. I can do both at once, and
make it happen.
Make it happen, but it is like patting your head and rubbing your stomach. Like if you work on it long enough, you can kind of like do it really slow at first. Right. Where it feels ridiculously slow to do these two parts at once. And then just literally up the BPM like 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and get there. And then it kind of feels like, it clicked. It clicked in my brain. Like I get it now, but it takes hours sometimes to get one, like for, a Rush, and we'll talk probably about the Rush tribute, but I'm in a Rush tribute now. And the song, The Camera Eye, I could not get that bass line in the vocal, in the verse. It's not that hard of a bass line to play by itself. It's not that hard of a melody to sing, but for like a few days, it took me like it felt like my brain was frozen in ice and I was just chipping, like trying to thaw it. Like it was so hard to try to do it at the same time. And I was almost like, am I going to be able to do this? And, you know.
And you did.
And I did. So it's like, you know, I think it's, the more you prove to yourself, I didn't think I could do this and I did it, then it builds your confidence a little, like to persevere when it gets really hard, that like, I can do this.
I guess maybe it depends on the situation, because if you're in a tribute band or a cover band that's trying to be more exact, you have to do what they do.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just doing solo acoustic stuff, or you're just playing a solo, you know, piano and singing, you can kind of, I don't want to say fudge it, but you can finesse it.
Yeah.
To make it fit the way you need it to fit for your voice.
Yeah, you can. You can make it your own thing. I mean, that's the cool thing about doing it your own version of a song, is that there's not as much pressure to, well, yeah, I'm having a lot of trouble with this rhythm and singing it. It's like, well, I'll do a different rhythm. I mean, if you really want to, you know? And that can even end up being, to you, you know, I changed it because it was hard for me to sing. And to other people, it's like, that's a really cool version of that song. Yeah. You know, they don't always know it's because you had trouble learning it or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's where it's like when Kurt Cobain wrote, Smells Like Teen Spirit, and he's like, I was trying to play More Than a Feeling and I just couldn't figure it. And when he wrote that riff, trying to play More Than a Feeling, the down, down, to get down,
I didn't know that. That's funny.
He's trying to play the chorus of More Than a Feeling. So it's like, you know, but the riff is awesome. And he might have felt like, well, I couldn't play More Than a Feeling, but I played this instead. It's like, I guess
that came out awesome.
It's like, man, it's so cool. Like, that's how stuff is created, you know, because you try to imitate something and it doesn't, you do it a different way, and then it's original. So I guess that's okay. So I guess I focus more on, like, I'm telling stories about learning Rush and learning other songs, but it's a fun challenge. I think you probably are this way because you're so curious and love to study things, but it's fun to pick up an instrument, like, I'm going to try to play and sing this, and it's really hard, and like, it's just it's fun to challenge yourself in really unique ways. And it doesn't really matter if it sounds good or not, because that's the joy of music, is like, it's just experimenting and playing. Yeah. That's why we call it playing music.
I just have to make sure it's worth it sometimes. Just like some stuff I will lose myself in and do it if it's just for my own amusement.
Yeah.
But like, let's say recently I learned James Taylor's Fire and Rain, right?
You remind me so much of James Taylor, by the way. I thought that like 5 separate times as I've been sitting here. I'm like, so cool that you say that.
If I could tell you how many times I've heard that at a gig when I wear my cap at a gig and people are like, do you know what you look like? I was like, James Taylor. Like, yes. And I'm like, put $1 in the jar.
Yeah, that's what you need. Oh, it's so funny.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
So I learned Fire and Rain, and I'm learning the intro. And then I just didn't want to spend the rest of like hours learning the rest of the finger picking part, like to learn how to sing and to play it like you did. I said, you know, I'm playing in a bar. Most people are not going to sit there and appreciate that I did all this other work. So I pretty much learned the intro, and then I'm strumming the rest of it. I'm like, well, do that. And you know what? It goes over just as well. You know, the only song that I won't do that with, because I'm not singing it, but I probably should, is when I was singing with some female singers, my friend Tara or Christy Orman, Tara Taylor or Christy Orman, to give them a shout out. Great singers. Yeah. Landslide, I did all the finger picking parts too, because it's just a fun song to do, and it's not very difficult as far as for classical guitar. It's like, yeah, it was pretty easy for finger picking. Okay,
it would be so interesting to like talk to. I mean, this is like aside, but because the James Taylor finger picking is so the way he seems to do it is very unique. Like the way he like I saw how he plays his D chord is very unique fingering. It's not the way that I play a D chord. It's like because he wants to be able to do that pull off in there or whatever. Right. Like from a classical standpoint, it's just like really interesting to would be like to ask you how you approach learning something like that, a finger picking part, because that stuff is hard. That's really hard.
I don't want to sound awful, but after studying classical for a number of years and some flamenco, when I see a rock player do something and it's finger picking, It's really not very hard. Like you go learn Bach.
Yeah.
You're just like, it's James Taylor. Yeah, it's okay.
I love that though, because to me, it's like, that's hard, but it shouldn't. I mean, it's just so cool to hear from your perspective that it's like different.
It's not that bad.
Cool.
Like, and there's some stuff I'm just like, okay, pretty easy.
Awesome.
You know, I just don't want to put in I'm lazy and I won't put in the effort unless I really feel that like it needs to be done.
Well, that's where it is like, it's okay, because as a musician, like, you don't have to if you're not passionate about doing it. If you were like, I crave learning James Taylor's finger picking, like I just want to study it and learn it exactly, then you would, because that passion would drive you to want to learn all of it. Where it's like, I love James Taylor. I'm influenced by his finger picking. I think it's really cool, or I think it's worth it because people love it and it would sound really cool to do it just like him. So I'll learn the intro. And like, that's the kind of, you know, that's where we combine a little bit of us and a little bit of the artist that we're inspired by to create something that's somewhere in the middle, and it's kind of a unique thing.
But having studied classical piano, you probably look at, similar to me sounding, you know, the way I do about the finger picking for rock guitar, you probably approach guitar or piano parts or keyboard parts in rock music, except maybe like Rick Wakeman stuff, which may be a little bit more difficult because he can play, or, you know, I mean, maybe Billy Joel and that kind of stuff. But I mean, for the most part, most rock musicians are not like technical monsters, right? So like if you look at your basic, let's say, we'll get into it in a bit, but doing the Kristen McVie stuff, how difficult is that for you as if somebody who's been playing classical piano?
Yeah, those keyboard parts are relatively easy.
Yeah.
And that's not...
It's not a slight.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Just
There's
the
nothing wrong with that, but the thing is you start to realize sometimes the simpler, the better.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that people remember.
Yeah.
And as soon as you start playing it, hey, it's just 2 chords. Or it's 3 chords. Some of Christy McVie's songs are like, they're so simple on paper, you know, like the chord chart, so simple, but yet it's so good and so catchy. Like, so that was fun studying her stuff. It's not because it's technically pushing me as much. It's just like the songwriting is so good. So there's always an aspect to it. But yeah, like the progressive rock greats of keyboard, Rick Wakeman. I love Tony Banks from Genesis, like his stuff. And I loved it because it was like, oh, they're inspired by classical music. I can totally tell because they approach it exactly like a composer. Like they're composing here. I mean, it's incredible. And you hear the influence there. So that stuff is super challenging. But yeah, it's like the keyboard it's anything and everything. Like it's, I just look at the piano as an orchestra in one instrument, you know? Yeah. So that's the cool thing about it is, there's so many ways people have approached it. You can do anything with it. You can simplify it to be the most simple thing ever. You can make it the most virtuosic thing ever. Yeah. And, we love it either way. So
it's amazing to me. Like, you know, again, it's not to slight anybody, but it's just, you pick up certain things when you watch people play. Like I've watched, and I've said it before to friends. I don't think I've ever said it on the podcast, but I watched Lindsey Buckingham play. I don't know how he plays so well. Like his right hand when he's finger picking. Oh my God, it looks like I'd be in pain. Like playing like that, like coming from learning classical and like the ease of playing in your hands and how your hands should motion. And then watching his hand, it looks like a claw when he's playing. Keep that in mind. Like if you watch James Taylor finger pick and then you go watch Lindsey Buckingham do it, completely different right hand.
Wow.
It's James Taylor's very smooth. When he's playing, it's almost very classical. Lindsey Buckingham, not so much. Although his parts are beautiful.
Yeah.
And some of them are damn difficult. But I just wonder how some musicians sometimes, when I look at them playing, how the hell they play the way they do. Because like their technique is just not very good.
Wow. That's so crazy. I mean, yeah, that's really interesting. I don't think about the right hand as much like from that point of view. So I'm going to think about that more now when I watch them because, I mean, I play guitar, but I've never studied it like you have with the the classical,
Yeah.
of course. And actually, I've started to become very interested in possibly studying more of that classical guitar because, wow, I mean, not only is it beautiful when I hear people play, but it's like, I would love to deepen my understanding of the fretboard and like, I feel like that would be really cool because I read sheet music for piano.
Yeah.
I feel like I read it pretty proficiently. I can sight read pretty easily.
Let me guess, guitar is the worst instrument. It's the horrible.
Can
it's horrible.
Not sight read. You would guess that I am just learning to read music. If I pick up a guitar and I try to read, I'm like counting G sharp, A. Okay, that's an A. But what octave is it? Wait, is that the right octave? A? I don't know. Like
when I started playing,
there's like 5 different A's. Why are there so many?
When I started playing oud, I was taking some lessons, and oh my God, it was so easy. Like, not that the instrument's easy to play.
Oh.
It was so easy to learn because we started learning songs, and all the songs are single lines. And studying classical guitar, we have multiple parts and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is what violin players, this is like flute players read. Oh, no wonder they're so good at melodies and reading rhythms. And I had such a pain in the butt time learning on the guitar because I had to learn what position I'm in, how I'm going to finger it, how I'm going to fret it. And now all I have to worry about is hitting one note and playing through.
You have one job.
Just the one.
That's so cool. I love that though. I've thought that like, looking at my classmates, like, cause we would be in theory and we're all playing different instruments, but there's trombone players, there's tuba, there's viola,
yeah.
violin, cello, like everything, piano. And it's like, and percussionists who I'm like, what do you guys, like, you guys are in theory. I'm so sorry. Like we're doing, I'm feel like chords are easier for me.
Singers
and they're
had the
like,
worst time.
They're taking piano class and everything, and they're like struggling. I'm like, holy cow, I respect you guys so much. Like, this is so crazy, but it's so cool to think, okay, you guys can only, some of these instruments can only play one note at a time.
Yep.
So we're talking about chords. Like, how are you guys thinking about this? Like, how are you guys wrapping your head around this? How am I wrapping my head around embouchure? And like, I don't even know what that means. It's like the way you purse your lips and the amount of airflow. Like, I sound like I'm farting out of my mouth when I try to play a wind instrument or a saxophone. Like, it's absolutely mind-boggling to me. So it's just so cool to look at all the different instruments and be like, yeah, okay, it seems easier because you only have to play one note at a time. But no, there's breath control and tone and phrasing. Like, so like when you're singing, when you're playing a wind instrument, singing is so hard. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing.
People don't get it because it's like playing piano or guitar. Put your finger here, push or pluck. Vocals, you can't see your instrument.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like, get this feeling. And somebody's trying to explain to you a feeling in your throat and you're like, what? I can't.
Like, feel your diaphragm. What?
People
what
don't
does that feel like?
Until you play another instrument, I don't think you can appreciate it. I didn't appreciate singing until I had to become a singer. The only instrument I found fairly easy to go to, bass, because after playing guitar for so many years, like, I felt it was easy. But I still say with bass, I can't play bass like a bass player. I play bass like a guitar player. I don't feel that groove the way a bass player does. I feel like a guitar player does.
It's so cool how, like, there's that like, different cultures on an instrument or something. Like, I guess that's the best word I could think of. But, like, if I picked up that oud, you would be like,
what the heck?
This is I don't know, like, you would be able to tell that I'm not an oudist. Like, even if I could make noise on it, it would be like, she doesn't know what she's doing, or she's playing it like somebody who plays rock music would play a stringed instrument, and it's not a rock instrument. Like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, that doesn't have frets. That's scary.
Every instrument's got a learning curve,
yeah,
and it's real interesting when you pick up something else. I mean, you should know, you played 4 different instruments. I mean, singing, piano, bass, anything else?
Guitar. But
I mean, there you go.
So my aunt she just told me she is going to pass her flutes, that she played flute when she was in school, onto me. And she asked me, do you want these? Does any, before I get rid of them? I'm like, I don't know anything about playing flute, but it'd be so cool to try to learn. And so, but I don't expect that I would pick it up and sound good at it for at least probably a year. But it is the joy of picking up an instrument that you're not familiar with and learning it. It's just so cool. Like music, because we have notes. They all have that point where they cross over, where it's okay. This is how I play an E scale on this instrument or whatever. This is how I would do it. Or this is like you can do modal things on them or whatever. But the tuning, like I think as a writer and as an artist, that's when you get opened up to new ideas, is when you try a new instrument or a new tuning or a new, I don't know, you tune your guitar down a little bit. It's like, this sounds different. Ooh, I like this. Oh, I didn't think about it. Like it feels fresh.
Yes.
Music feels fresh. Like some people say, oh, there's only 12 notes. Like all the music that we have. I mean, of course there's microtonal stuff too, which is incredible. But, basically in Western music, we have 12 notes. Like, don't worry so much about being original. Like you think there's those 12 notes. How can I possibly be original? Everything's been done. Every chord progression, every, whatever. But, but that's when you pick up a new instrument and you're unfamiliar with it and you're just kind of messing around on it. Like you're doing something new and it's maybe never been done before, kind of, or that's just so fun. I just love it. Yeah, I keep saying that over and over.
If you do it right, I think it's a never-ending learning experience doing music.
Yeah.
There's always something to learn. I went from all the guitar stuff I did, and now I started learning recording and mixing and a little bit of mastering, and then getting into ambient music, like all the stuff. And I'm just like, it's all over the place.
That's so cool.
Just chase your stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of chasing stuff, let's just jump ahead a little bit.
Okay.
I want to find out about this Weird Al Yankovic stuff.
Oh, wow.
How did this even come about? Like, you're Payton Rose Velligan, Charlotte musician, got out of college. You're doing the DiCarlo thing for a bit, and then all of a sudden I turn around and you're playing with Weird Al Yankovic. So how did this come about? What happened?
Oh, my goodness. It was a surprise for me, too. So a couple years ago, I got a text from a friend who works for Al, just saying, hey, Al's thinking about going on tour. He's thinking about adding a female singer and guitarist specifically to the band, to the lineup. Would you mind if I recommended you? And I was like, is this a scam? Like, I mean, like
is this a real phone call?
You get like, messages sometimes and you just can't believe it. It's like, is this even real?
Yeah.
I mean, it was my friend, but still I was like, what? So of course I was like, yeah, absolutely. And, so he sent, the tour manager and Al, some of my videos from YouTube. I don't know which one, so I really don't know. I was a little nervous, but he sent them some of my videos, and I got the call, and we had a little phone conversation, and they offered me the gig.
Seriously? Yeah. So you didn't have to go in and do like these high-pressure auditions and play and sing and do their stuff? Or
I didn't have to do that.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. I always see these rock gigs where people are going in to be the singer or the guitar player, and they're like, okay, got you. We got the 5 o'clock is coming in, and all right, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
So what was the learning curve like? How many songs did you guys do for each night? Were they the same each night? Did he break it up? How did that work?
It was mostly the same show every night.
Okay.
So we did 75 shows last summer.
Wow.
And it was so much fun. His set is ridiculously fun. It was, I mostly play guitar on everything and do backing vocals on pretty much everything, but I'm a little utility as well. I
was going to ask that. Are you the utility musician in the band?
Yeah, a little bit. I do some little percussion, like some tambourine, some noisemakers. I have a pop gun and a bulb horn that I get to play on one of the songs, and So actually for this tour, and we're doing it again this summer, so it's kind of the second leg of the tour. It's called the Bigger and Weirder Tour. He added 4 new musicians to his band. Okay. So all 4 of us are actually kind of utility musicians in a way. Like we all have kind of the thing we do. Like I play guitar. There's an amazing vocalist who also does some percussion and keyboards and stuff. There's a couple horn players who do some congas, and I mean we're just all kind of shifting every song. So that's been a lot of fun because his songs have so much character to them that it is like, what do we need on this song? Do we need some more sound effects or, noisemakers or percussion or not? Or are we just singing? Is there a choir vocals like Amish Paradise? We're the Amish choir, Yeah. And, so that was, that's basically my role in the band.
How many songs in an evening? How many songs is in the set that you're normally doing?
I feel like I should know. It's a 2-hour show.
Okay.
So it's a lot of songs, and I guess I should clarify when I said it's almost the same show every night. There's one song that would rotate that was a cover song. So we did a good mix of his parodies and his original songs.
Gotcha.
And then there's one cover song that we had 6 that we would rotate every night. We'd pick one every night and they would rotate. So
I'm curious. So when you get this gig and they're like, here's a set list, do they just hand you a recording and go learn all this? Or do they hand you some sheet music? Or how does that work when you're walking into this particular situation?
They were extremely thorough. Like actually really Al is our music director, which is so cool. So he sent us all the study materials. It was a lot of charts for vocals, and isolated tracks for instrumental parts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So he likes, the songs to also be like very close to the, record. Like,
gotcha.
He wants us to be as spot on as possible with the tones and the parts and everything. So in that regard, like he would send us exactly what he wanted us to play. And it was just my job to learn that and try to execute it,
Right.
So he's very thorough. Like he made it very easy in that regard. Like he would send, here's your harmony part. Okay. It's all charted out, all the words, all the notes. So when we got together for rehearsals, about a month before the tour started, it was like everything kind of fell right into place.
I'm guessing though that you were not a big Weird Al Yankovic fan before you got the gig, so you didn't know all the songs. So given that, how long did it take you to kind of get to be familiar with the songs before you headed out on the tour?
Yeah, I did have to learn all his music. It's always kind of funny because I'll go to say like I wasn't a big Weird Al fan, meaning I didn't really know his music, but it comes across it can also kind of sound like I didn't really like his music. And so I'm trying to think like I was like a Weird Al ignorant or something. Like I didn't know about.
Well, I mean, I grew up with his stuff. So like, it was part of, all his videos and all that was kind of it was part of growing up when I was a kid. It was like he was on MTV.
Yeah. That's what my parents said too. Like they knew him very well and knew his music videos.
But I don't know his catalog. I never went out and bought his album. So like I'd be a fan, cause I like his stuff that he's put on video, but I never went out and bought albums, So it was like when I got the gig and I started listening to his songs, I was like, where has this been all my life? Like I just hadn't discovered it yet really. Yeah. But when I did go listen to it, I was like, this is right up my alley. Like I love being silly. I love goofy. I love, he's just so clever. Like his songs, even though they're, like his parodies, they're funny, but you can listen to them over and over and over. And it's like the jokes don't really get old. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like, even though the lyrics, like they're still so funny. I would be on stage, like just trying to hold in my laughter or just not even holding it in, just straight up laughing because it's just so funny. And, so it was right up my alley. And so I made a big playlist of all the songs and listened to it a lot before I even started learning the material. I was just trying to get familiar. And that's kind of my process with any gig that I am asked to do. I'll make a playlist and just listen to the songs, because learning them becomes so much easier when you already know them, like in your ear.
Right.
I realized like I've spent hours trying to learn a bass part where it doesn't even stick because I didn't even know the song. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when you can already kind of hum it in your head, that's half the learning.
Right.
So that made it easier when I went to go pick out my parts or learn them. I was already kind of familiar with his songs from just listening to them. And the learning process was really fun. I did a lot of charting. Like I charted out the chords and everything for my guitar parts and making notes about when to come in on these vocals, when to come in with these little percussion things or whatever. I wanted to go so well prepared. I had never met Al in person yet when I was learning all the material. Like we had emailed, but I was like, I want to show up at rehearsals and be as prepared as I can be. So I made a lot of charts, and that was kind of my process for that gig. But and then a lot of the patch programming took a long time, because normally for a gig where I'm playing guitar, I'll have a couple patches or maybe even just one. I love to just plug into an amp and just go. Like I'll roll off, or I'll do a full volume to change my tone a little bit, or maybe have a couple pedals that like I click on, a lead boost. Yeah. But I'm really like simplistic when it comes to that, when it comes to gear. So programming my patches took me a long time, because that was a big learning curve for me, was learning how to program my Line 6 Helix, which is what I use.
Okay. That was going to be my next question. For people who are like, I don't even know what a patch is. Was the stage, was it a silent stage? Meaning for
besides
people
drums.
Listening, it's a silent stage is you don't have, any sound. You don't have amplifiers. Everything's done through what we call in-ears, which is listening, with basically headphones, more advanced headphones, but headphones nonetheless. Was it just really curious, what was the learning curve like for you going from smaller stages? Cause I would guess, playing with DeCarlo and Irrashional and the stuff you've done before, you weren't playing in Madison Square Garden.
No, not
so what is the learning curve for you? And given the learning curve, was it intimidating when you first started doing it? Where you're like, oh crap,
That's such a good question. I would say the biggest learning curve was navigating how I connected with the audience.
Okay.
So playing smaller stages, and thankfully up until playing with Al, I kind of played some bigger venues. Like with Irrational, we played more locally and it was smaller stages. And then with DeCarlo, it started out small, and then we played some more theaters, performing arts centers. Okay. So like bigger halls where you're on a bigger stage. And so being on a big stage didn't really scare me anymore. But it's just, so like with Al playing in Madison Square Garden, which was incredible. Or like Red Rocks, or we were constantly, oh my gosh, tell me, like pinch me. I just can't believe it. It's so cool to have been there. And that, like Madison Square Garden, that was his first time playing there. So to be there with him for his first time, where he was like, this is my first time at Madison Square Garden, and it's sold out, and like the crowd just goes nuts. Like it was so cool.
Wow.
But it didn't really scare me to be like, there's 10,000 people out there. That wasn't really nerve wracking.
Do you even see them?
Yeah. A lot of times you maybe you don't see them.
The stage is, the stage is lit and the audience is dark. So how much of them are you actually seeing until they go, house lights, let's take a look at the crowd. And you're like, oh my God, I'm playing in front of 20,000 people.
Yeah. I feel like for Al, actually more than any other gig, I see the audience more. Like a lot of it, we played a lot of outdoor shows, and they would start like while it was still a little bit light out. And so, or there'd just be like lights in the field or something. Like you could see the people for most of our gigs, you could see how far back they went and see everybody like cheering and standing up and singing and dancing and whatnot, which made it really fun. I love gigs where I can see the audience because otherwise it's kind of hard. So anyways, even seeing, and like at Red Rocks, the amphitheater is so steep in front of you from the stage perspective. Like you see everybody. It's like a wall of people right in front of you. It's kind of amazing. Huh. And they would it was lit up often enough that I could see all the way up to like the back row and see people up there. And there's people all on the sides and everything. It's really cool to look out from that stage. Really cool is not really there's probably a better word for that than cool, but it is certainly cool. It's breathtaking. But it didn't really make me nervous. It was exciting and emotional to see so many people giving the energy and to be part of that. It made me cry on many occasions. Wow. To go out there and see that and feel it. But not scared. It was really so basically I think smaller stages are scarier.
How so?
Because they're more intimate. Like people are right in front of you and they're looking right at you and like they're just like it's so close and intimate that I feel more vulnerable.
Interesting.
Okay. On a big stage, it's almost like and then we had 9 people in the band, so there's so much going on. Yeah. It wasn't as like I didn't feel as vulnerable. Yeah. And part of that is I think I had the bandmates and we were all working together, doing what you do is solo acoustic. I'll lay in bed and be scared to get out of bed the day that I have a gig like that.
Oh, stop. You play Madison Square Garden.
No, seriously. I mean it. Like, I'm not being facetious. I mean it. Like, and my parents will tell you too. You could ask them, like, when does Payton not want to get out of bed? It's when I have a gig like that. Even with the band, if it's like a local gig and we're playing like a small little place. Yeah. That makes me nervous.
Wow.
And I tend to overthink it and just get really flustered and stuff.
See, that's how I got over my fear of performing. Like playing, like we were talking about playing before. And when I was playing classical guitar and people staring at you and you get nervous. Like, I got over it by playing solo gigs, but it's still, I don't like people just staring at me. Mm-hmm. Like, it's never been something that I've been a fan of for that. But, yeah. All right, so this is a weird question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So I watched this movie, have you ever seen it called Hired Gun?
Sorry, I was just drinking water, but yes, I have seen that.
All right, so there's a line in the movie where the guitar player, Jason Kidd, says, you're part of this life, being the utility or the musician in the band, that has nothing to do with you. Like, you are on stage with Al. And yeah, you are there, you're performing, this is your livelihood, but they're not coming to see you. They're coming to see Al. Does that ever like reflect on you, even though you're in the band and you're doing your thing? Do you realize, is that in your head ever that you like, oh, they're here for him?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The whole show, it feels like not in a bad way. It's like right. I'm there to support Al and like be part of the team that is backing him and making him be able to do his thing to the best that he's able to do it. You know what I mean? Right. Like, and like my favorite part of the show is. So we start the show with a song called Tacky, which is a parody of the song Happy. And Al starts from behind the stage and there's a camera, our video tech has a walking camera that he films Al, like Al's weaving through all the backstage hallways, whatever. And he emerges about towards the end of the song. He comes out into the crowd. Spoiler alert. I don't know. Like it's all over YouTube. I feel like I can say that, but, it's a really cool part of the show. So he starts on the screen and we're all out there playing, you know? Yeah. And when he comes out, the whole place just lights up. No matter what venue we're at, you know, wherever he's at, you see the people, they're all looking for him the whole time. And then they finally see him and they all start standing up. And it's just this roar of like, sometimes actually deafening, like even with my in-ears, I can't hear anything except the crowd. It's so cool. I love it. and it makes me, that's when I would just start crying, you know, like I would be, oh my God, I'm packing. Like it would be crazy to hear my isolated vocals on some of those shows, because you would hear how wavery like my voice is, because I just get so emotional. But, you know, I am a fan of Al. Like learning his music, getting to work with him, just seeing how he navigates what he does, who he is as an artist. I've become such a fan of him. So I get it. I feel like I'm right there with the audience. I'm like, I'm excited when he walks on stage too. It's the coolest part of the show for me. And, so I'm really happy to be just part of his team. I do feel like I'm not that important. In like, that sounds, but like, I'm just a small part of that whole show. And if I can do something that supports and elevates the show, and maybe if I do something that, helps people walk away and be like, we made an amazing memory tonight.
Right.
And I'm never going to forget this show. Like, yeah. I feel fulfilled by that. Not just them walking away and saying, I'm going to follow that girl Payton Rose on guitar. Yeah. You know, she's really cool. I mean, of course that's really nice to connect with people in that way too. But that actually, I want to mention that because you're asking about the learning curve. Yeah. So besides it being like, besides the nerves, the biggest learning curve, of playing those bigger stages and playing with Al was how I connected with the audience. Because when I'm doing these shows at home, most of the shows I'm the lead singer, or at least I'm up front. I'm kind of right there with the crowd. I'm making eye contact with them. Like we're looking at each other. And that's how I got really used to having that exchange of energy happen between me, the performer, and the audience. Is we can lock eyes and like smile or sing along together and have that understanding between each other. Like that's when I feel the symbiosis, like that energy happen, right. You know? And I feel like, okay, we're creating something here together. With Al, I'm kind of me and the new band members and the drummer and the key. There's a bunch of us. The drummer and the keyboardist are up on a riser. We're like in the back of the stage. Like we're upstage. Gotcha. Right. I just think upstage, downstage. We're upstage. And so I'm not right there looking at people in the eye. Right. And then so like in the beginning of touring with him, I would be scanning the audience. Of course, we're looking at the crowd. They're so fun to watch. Like they're into it. We're smiling and having a good time. And I started to realize maybe after a couple weeks, I'm like, I can't lock in with anybody in the crowd. Like they're not, it's like, I'm not making eye contact with them. You know, they're looking at Al, obviously. Sure. And maybe they're looking at some of us back here too, but I wasn't making that connection. And I felt like kind of hollow inside. Right. It was weird. Like I was having fun at the show, but I would leave feeling almost like I didn't do a good job.
Because you didn't connect with anybody?
Yeah, like I knew I did the music well or whatever. Like it was fun. The people had fun, but I didn't have that connection. And so I had to realize where I flipped that to was just because it's not the same as when I'm at home and I'm playing on these stages. Like maybe the audience is right there and I'm singing. So of course they're looking at me more, whatever. And I'm feel like I'm communicating right to them. I'm still on stage, like this energy is something that we're creating on stage, and Al is like the spear point of the head of the spear that's like sending it out to them, you know? And so so I started kind of leaning on my bandmates more. Like we started interacting more on stage versus me to the audience. It's like me and my bandmates, we're playing up the bits. We're getting really into the song. We're jamming out with each other. And that felt really good to be like, and then I started noticing people would be like, oh, I saw you and Monique. Monique's the singer who stands next to me. Like, you guys were being so fun back there, like just dancing and laughing. And I'm like, that started to communicate to them more. But it was just different. It was a different type of energy transfer than I was used to with Al. And I ended up, once I figured that out, I had so much fun on stage every single night. Like it just got more and more fun right up to the end of the tour.
How long did it take you to gel as a band where you got comfortable to doing that kind of thing? Like, hey, I feel comfortable walking over to Monique. She's not going to look at me like, why are you over in my part of the stage?
Yeah. Thankfully everybody's super fun and sweet in the band. And, it didn't take very long, but I feel like we really started playing around with each other, like maybe halfway through the tour. Like we were having fun and we figured out a couple little times where we come to each other, but then about halfway through we were just like, we just felt so comfortable with each other that every night it was a little bit different. Like we're the interplay between us, we would do something a little different here or there. It wasn't just like, I don't want to mess up my part, maybe a month in or so. Like, I mean, there's so much to take in with his show and so much to do. We're very busy on stage that like, just getting used to that was like, I guess it took a little while. Well, we had a lot of rehearsal. It was kind of funny. It's like it took a little while, but at the same time, as soon as we hit night one, I felt like this show is great and we all felt really comfortable. But I didn't realize how much I would continue to grow with my bandmates and feel closer to them and feel like so natural on stage, just joking around with them. Even with Al, like he's incredibly locked in during the show. Like he is such a pro. Like he just nails it every night. He's so consistent. But sometimes even like he would change up his bits towards the latter half of the tour. He would like say something. I'm like, what did he just tell it? Like he told a different story that I hadn't heard before.
Right.
Or he'd call out one of his OG band members, that he's had four of his band members, his core band he's had in the band since he started. So they all have a really tight relationship and he'd call them out and they'd do something silly and like these bits started kind of getting added. And so that's when we all started to feel more loose and we were just genuine. Like when we were laughing on stage, we were genuinely like, nobody's acting up there. Like, even though it's comedy and it's a planned show, it's almost like musical theater in some ways because we're doing costumes and we're doing the same set. Like the show flows really well. When we go off stage for a costume change, Al has, he programmed a bunch of videos to go on while we're backstage. So you watch the screen and it's all these clips from throughout his career, cartoons he's voiced, little interviews that he's done, his MTV fake interviews that he did, like just really compilations of stuff from his career and they're hilarious. And so that flows. Like we go off stage, you see the video, it's hilarious. We come back on stage, we play a song, we go off stage, we change costumes again. It's so well rehearsed, but at the same time, it started to get looser at the end of the tour where we were just like, Al just made us genuinely like fold over laughing with what he just said or whatever. Like it was so much fun. So yeah, it got looser. So, I didn't expect that when going into it. We rehearsed the show. We did dress rehearsals. It was so tight. And, I was like, great. I'm so excited to do this 75 times. And now I'm excited to do it 90 more times this summer.
Are you guys staying in the States or are you going abroad?
We are, mostly in the States and, some shows in Canada. We have maybe 6 or 7 dates in Canada, something like that.
So when you guys are traveling, are you traveling by tour bus? Or are you doing planes? Okay.
we are on bus.
Is that the first time you've really traveled by tour bus this extensively?
This is my
what do you
first
think?
bus tour.
How do you like it?
I love it. Yeah. I love the bus tour so much. It's like summer camp, but like all summer. It's so much fun. There was 12 of us on our bus, 11 of us on our bus.
Okay.
So it was crowded and, it was all the band members, including Al and, our opener Puddles and his wife. He's an amazing singer and comedian. So we were all on the bus together and it just felt like, we all have our bunks and then there's a little sitting area. So we all hang out after the show. And if somebody couldn't sleep, we'd come out and some of us would be hanging out there. Right. Or you go to sleep and you're in the bunks and it feels like summer camp. I mean, it really did. Wow. I loved being that close to the band, like after the show. And during the day, we would arrive in the next city. So we'd drive overnight after the show, go to the next city. And then we would arrive in the city and get hotels. So it was like we had our alone time too like during the day. So if we were always, I don't know, I liked being in close proximity to the band all the time because they all became dear friends to me. Sure. And we were like a band. I'd done dates before I joined Al, like doing, fly dates for different projects that I was in, which is, where you fly out for a weekend, play 1 or 2 or 3 shows, and then fly back. And it was always fun and like a whirlwind, but I never felt like I just had that time with the band to be a band, like hang out.
Right.
And that's when kind of like really cool conversations happen, or really cool ideas come about, or, you have musical conversations or whatever. So I always wanted to know what that was like. So I was really excited for the bus tour, and I loved it. I can't wait to do it again. And, it's really comfortable. I mean, the bus is really comfortable too. We have our own little bunk. I piled like more than half my bunk was full of stuff. So I didn't fit on it very well by the end of the tour. And, so we had to conserve space because there's so many of us. We couldn't bring that much stuff with us. We couldn't bring like instruments on the bus,
right,
really, which would have been cool, but like to jam out on the bus or whatever.
Sure.
But there's just so much limited space. So anything that you bring, it has to fit like on your bunk. So all the time you collect stuff from the shows or from different places you go, and it's like, it's got to fit on the bunk. And of course I had my snacks and stuff too. So.
Did you get to see much of the towns that you visited, or was it pretty much just like set up, rehearse, get ready for the show that night, go back to whatever hotel or bus or however it is?
It was kind of a mixture. I feel like I got to see a lot of the places that we went. Sometimes it just wasn't, it was such a whirlwind. Like we'd arrive in the morning and it was an early show, like a festival or something. And we'd just have such a short amount of time in that place that we'd get to the venue early, sound check, play, go back on the bus. But I'm really thankful to say I got to see a lot of the cities that we played in. I loved, so we'd arrive to the city, the way they routed it, usually it would be like between 4:30 and maybe 7:30 in the morning. That was usually like when we'd be pulling up to the next place.
Gotcha.
Sometimes it was legit in the middle of the night, at 4 a.m. and you're like stumbling off the bus.
Yeah.
Getting into the hotel, and sometimes it was like, okay, I'm awake, I just want to go,
Sure.
And I loved, there's some cities where I'm like, I would kind of do some research the night before or the morning of. I'd get in my hotel room and I'd hop online, and on my map and just be like, what are the cool things to do here? I mean, there's so many places I had never been and never even heard of that is like, what is there to do? What's the cool thing? Are there cool museums? Are there cool, especially on, we would have days off, maybe we'd do like 4 shows and then have a day off. So days off, it's like, okay, like let's explore. So I love going to museums. I love parks. I love food. So I was always like, is there like a cool local food here that this place is known for? Like I want to go to a cool restaurant that has that or order it, So yeah, it was, and sometimes though in the middle of the summer, it was so hot. Like we did the end of July and early August in the Southeast, and it was like over 100 degrees every day. Ugh. So sometimes it would be like, what can I do that's indoors? Or, what can I do? Like,
go to a museum today.
Yeah, exactly. And some days, to be honest, like I was just really tired and I would sleep a lot.
Wow.
And it's a weird schedule because you arrive really early in the morning, and then you usually you stay up late because the show goes late, and then you're excited, and so we go to sleep by like maybe 2, and then on the bus, and then so we get to the hotel, maybe you sleep some more, maybe you go out and just get some food, like maybe you needed sleep and rest that day,
Sure.
And that's something that I kind of had to grapple with, like it feels like such an opportunity, and it's such an opportunity to go on the road and be in a new city every day, that it's like, I don't want to miss out on experiencing these places.
Sure. And
a few weeks in, I realized like I was so tired. And I even got like a little like, I don't know. I mean, I like sick. I mean, I don't know. I like not, how can I describe it? Like, I just didn't feel very well, I guess. Like There was a few mornings where maybe like 3 weeks into the tour, I'm like, why don't I feel well? Like I'm not sick, but like I'm just drained, and I should be having the time of my life. Like, and I'm like, it's so much fun, but like we were in Philadelphia, And I was like, I've never been to Philadelphia. It was one of the cities I was most excited to see. And it was in early July. And I just like didn't get out of bed that day. And I felt so sad, but like, I feel like it's kind of important to say this because I always say like, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And I saw all these places and did all this, but the reality is too, like there was times where it was a little hard,
Yeah.
you know, and like it was 4 PM and I called my mom and I was just like, I can't get out of bed right now. Like help, you know, like I should be happy and I should be excited. It was like, maybe you just need to sleep. Like, it's okay. You don't have to be go all the time. Don't feel bad if you need to take a day to recuperate. And that's really what I needed. And it feels hard. It's like, but I'm in Philadelphia and I've never been here and I want to see it. And it's like, but then I asked myself, I was like, why am I here? I'm here to do a good job at the show. I'm here to do the best I can for Al and for the team. Like, everything else is a bonus. Every time I get to go and explore or do something fun is just a bonus. And if I need to show up and bring my best to the show, that's why I'm here. So when I started focusing on that first, like, you know, be ready, have my gear ready, change my guitar strings, shower, do my laundry. Like, what do I need to do to make this show, get myself ready for this show, be energized. Don't tire myself out and then be just all tired for the show. That's not why I'm here, you know? And so when I started focusing on that, putting the show, I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I didn't do that. Of course, the show is always important. But when I started thinking like, well, that's all I have to do is be ready for the show and everything else is a bonus, then I kind of like was able to just, some places I go out and explore and some places I need a rest day or whatever. And I ended up feeling like it was really balanced and I had a really sustainable energy throughout the rest of the tour where it wasn't like, I'm super happy. Like I'm going hard all day and then I'm going hard at the show and then I'm so exhausted, you know, on our day off and I don't want to get out of bed. Like it was more sustainable, my energy throughout the rest of the tour when I realized that.
It's understandable. You're constantly moving, you're doing stuff and stimulated, right? From the show the night before. Maybe you don't get to sleep the exact time you normally would. And there's just so much newness everywhere. Like when you're on tour, at least for me, cause I haven't done it before. So everything was new and exciting. Like some of my bandmates were like, you're in your honeymoon phase. And I'm like, okay, that's okay. I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah. And, so even just like hanging out with them after the show, it's like, I want to go to bed. Like this is so much fun. Like we're talking, and that's where I think I would really exhaust myself. It's like, I would just stay up wanting to just be awake, experiencing it all when it's like, you should probably be sleeping because you're going to want to get up early tomorrow and go, you know, explore Chicago or whatever. And you're going to be real tired for the show. So that was a learning curve as well. It's like, as much as the bus tour, like usually I just say, oh, it was so much fun. And it was, but I did have to learn about how to navigate that myself. I learned a lot about myself in that way.
So not even just the musical portion, you're learning how to pace yourself on tour and what you have to do and what you're not to do.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And, you know, of course, being the new member of the band, and everybody else had either toured with Al before a lot or toured in other ways or, you know, it wasn't really like their first time. I felt like I don't want to mess anything up, you know, I was just like, I want to learn from them the right way to navigate this. I want to show up the right way. And so there was, you know, learning that too. I mean, there's a lot of tour etiquette and show etiquette. As you know, like being a musician, there's certain things that you just kind of have to learn by doing it. Yeah. But I was like, I don't want to piss anybody off. I don't want to do anything wrong. So after, like about halfway into the tour too, it's like, okay, I'm settling. I feel like I get how this is. Like I'm fitting in. Everything's cool. I'm not so worried anymore about doing something wrong. You know, that I settled into that too as well. Like,
well, second part, you go back, at least you know. I did this once already. I'm good. I know what to do.
Yeah. I really don't feel so nervous. I was nervous before, like the whole spring leading up to the tour. I was going through emotions. I was anticipating how much I was going to miss home. And cause I'm like, I'm going to be gone for 3.5 months. I've never been away from home for that long. And that's true. And you know, there's things that come along. There's sacrifices. You miss things, you know, family things or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm like sad about that. And I'm going to miss my family. And and then the nervousness of not knowing exactly what it's going to be like because I've never done it. So this spring, this year leading up to the tour this summer, I'm like so relaxed thinking about it. It's like, it's going to be awesome. I already know it was. I feel like there's a lot of stuff I am going to improve on in terms of like what I was just talking about. I'm going to go into knowing how to pace myself and like how to enjoy the places that we're going and do a good job at the shows. And I look forward to not being so nervous about all that. And just doing it all summer, where it's a longer tour even. So it's like I'm gonna look forward to having that experience.
So I guess the big question is, how many times did you call your friend that recommended you for this gig and say, thank you, thank you. I'm in Red Rocks tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I did thank him a lot. He's actually, the cool thing was he was on the crew. We toured together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's Al's VIP coordinator. So he was there at the venue every day, and yeah, he got a lot of hugs. But I still feel like I can't thank him enough. I feel like I need to thank him more. I mean, he's just like, the fact that he thought of me meant the world, and believed in me. That you don't recommend somebody who you wouldn't vouch
you think
for. I guess
salad. Yeah, they're solid.
So that meant a lot to me when he did that, and he was a big point of comfort for me going in to the tour, being like, I know somebody, because I didn't know anybody else.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have a friend, and our friendship grew over the course of the tour, and it's still, I'm like excited that we're both going to be on the road again this summer. So
that's awesome. I hope it opens up more doors for more artists for you to get, in the door with and do more touring, if that's something that you want to do. Thank you.
I love working with Al. I don't know what like we were saying, 5-year plan, who knows, but I love working with him, and I've gotten to meet, the band members are incredible. We've made amazing friendships with them, and it would just be cool to just see where it goes, like whether we'll collaborate more or it'll lead to something else. I'm like, in the time I'm not working with Al, or I guess I'm sure much of my other projects, but like doing my original stuff is something that I'm now like really become passionate about. And so it's like, how could this fit in with still like touring here and there, going out in the summer? Because when you're gone all summer, it's really hard to do anything else.
Yeah, you said you don't have a lot of stuff on the tour bus, so it's not like you're writing and recording unless you can bring some laptop and recording devices into your hotel room.
Yeah. I think this year I learned, like, what do I want to take? I might get one of those really small guitars or something to take and put it in my bunk, because I did miss being able to just play in my hotel room. Like, I could write some ideas. Of course I was being inspired being on the road, but I didn't have my stuff. So it's like, I miss it. So yeah, this year I definitely learned.
You can always pick up ukulele and write a whole bunch of ukulele
songs. That's true. That's so true. I actually took a ukulele class in college. It was like a fun little elective. And so I have a uke. So that's true. I can write a bunch of happy little ukulele music.
There you go.
That's a good idea.
So you mentioned it. You've been writing some music, and you released a song recently. Unforgettable Me?
Unforgettable You.
Unforgettable You. I'm sorry. I'm thinking
you're good,
of, what was that movie? Forget it. There was a Disney movie ever something. Despicable Me.
Oh, Despicable.
That's where I got it. I was Unforgettable Me. No,
I love Despicable Me too. That's so awesome. That's
Unforgettable
one of my
You.
favorites.
So how did this? This is one of your recent releases. When did you come out with that?
Yes. Well, it comes out March 6th.
But you have it on your website,
which is like, but it's also on my website, and it's on Bandcamp. And I just want to say thank you to anybody who's listening who bought my song on Bandcamp, because I put it up there first, and I was absolutely overwhelmed by how many people showed their support by buying the song on Bandcamp. And I know that if you did that you're supporting the art, me as an artist directly, like, as opposed to just waiting until the song comes out on streaming or whatever, because, you know what you're doing. And some people, on Bandcamp it's cool because you can kind of name your price.
Yeah.
And so some people gave way more than they had to buy the song, And so thank you to everyone who supported that. That gave me the confidence to release it. And I'm really happy that people connected with the song. And so now, streaming, it should be available on streaming March 6th, 2026. So if you're hearing this, it should be out. I hope. And I have more. That's just the first. I have another one that's recorded that may at this time also be out. It's called Love Me. And that's also going to be on streaming. That's like more of a rock song. Unforgettable You is very 60s influenced.
It's funny you say that. I almost got a 50s vibe from it. Like
Really?
there was some 50s stuff going on in it. Yeah,
Thank you.
I was like, oh, this switch gears. This got some kind of 50s feel to it. Yeah.
Thank you. That's so awesome. I love to hear that. Like nobody's ever said that. It's, we had fun with like the doo-wops and the kind of.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I am an enormous Beatles fan, so everything I do is somewhat informed by the Beatles, but it's branched out from that, and it's like just pulling it like, what, this would be fun, let's do some doo-wops. Why not? I love that kind of music. So writing the music and getting to share it with people has been so exciting, and it was something that I didn't have the courage to do until now.
Yeah.
It's been a process of building that in myself, and then returning to my why. Mm-hmm. Why am I doing this? Why do I want to do this? I want to be something positive in the world. Like I want to be able to share something with people that will help them feel comforted or uplifted or happy or excited or hopefully something positive.
Yeah.
And that's what music does for me. Basically, I see it all as my way of giving back, because I'm just so blessed. Like, I fell in love with music as, not really somebody who saw myself as a performer first. I later came into that, but I just loved how music made me feel. That's probably how we all start, right? Like,
yeah.
But I was definitely not the one like, I want to be a rock star. I want to be a singer. Like, I know people like that who, when they were little kids, knew that, and I admire that, because I'm like, you had some confidence that I wish I had,
Yeah.
and belief in yourself. And so when I started performing, it was just like I started to love it after I kind of started doing it, and same with songwriting. Like I kind of fell into the love after I kind of started doing it. Anyways, I don't even think you asked about that. So I'm sorry, I went on this whole tangent about
It's very cathartic, songwriting. But I'll tell you what, let's listen to Unforgettable You. Thanks. And then we'll come back and talk about it a little bit more, all right?
Okay.
All right, this is Unforgettable You by Payton Rose Velligan.
That summer day we met, I think it was the 7th of July. So much has happened since that day. I fear I may forget someday the little things I love the most about you. Had to preserve these memories in my mind. Will they fade away? Would time be so unkind? So I will sing a symphony of all your smiles. Then listen for a while to the tune of my unforgettable you. Through winter's chill, a lonely flame still embers. 'Cause it's a love that only time remembers. Dreams made for reality, but you still mean so much to me. It's just what happens when hearts are intertwined. Both of us will find love cannot stop time. I will pay a past.
Payton, I love the track. Love it.
Thank you.
All right, so I've got to ask you, where did you record it? Was there anybody else besides you on the track? Because you play so many instruments, did you record everything, or did you just sing and have somebody else come in and do other instruments for you?
Awesome question. So this track was recorded. It started out as a very slow acoustic demo.
Okay.
As I've realized most of my songs have lately. And when I took it to the person that I'm collaborating, kind of working with, he's basically my producer right now. His name's Cliff.
Okay.
He has a studio in his house.
He in Charlotte?
He's in Concord, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Cliff.
Great.
He just does it out of his home. He's a sound engineer. He's a lot of things. He's a musician, a producer, a sound engineer, and kind of getting back into recording music. He does a lot of like television, movie stuff. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so I'll take my demos to him or whatever. And this particular one was slow. I was like, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I've had the song finished. It's going to be this slow, beautiful acoustic thing, hopefully. And I was sitting there in his studio, like I was trying to show it to him. So I was trying to remember how to play it.
Right.
And I took the guitar and I was just like fast forwarding, trying to play through the song to like, okay, so how to present the memories in my mind. Like I was singing it really fast.
Right.
To try to just remember it. And he was like, whoa, wait, that sounds kind of good. Like with an up tempo, like you're doing it right now. And I was like, wait.
That's not how it's supposed to be.
I was like, wait, oh my gosh, like, what? Did that just happen? Like, did we just make this really sappy ballad into a pop tempo song?
Yeah.
And we were like, whoa. And, there's the classic, like, 50s, 60s, like, shoo up, that kind of beat, that poppy kind of Beatles beat. And I was like, that would be really cool to make this song a pop song. I think it would give it an energy that it's lacking a little bit. Like it's pretty, but it's so emotional now with the way that it is. Like it would be cool to give it some verve.
Sure.
So we went into his room that has the drums and the amps and stuff, and he just got behind the drums and I got on the guitar and we started playing it up tempo and it was like, this is it. So after that, it kind of came together really quickly. We recorded the drums and bass. I love recording bass. So Cliff, he is a drummer. He played the drums. He did an amazing job with it. I'm not a drummer, so I can kind of be like, oh, maybe try this, or, like try doing it on the toms or try doing it on this, but that's basically so he did a great job with the drums. Then I recorded the bass, the guitars, and the vocals, and the beginning has acoustic guitar and mandolin. So I recorded all of those. I never played mandolin before, but that was fun. He has a mandolin, so I was like, I always wanted to play it. I always wanted to do the John Paul Jones mandolin.
It's fun.
So cool. It sounds so cool. And
that's the intro to my podcast.
Mandolin,
I got a mandolin, and I got a hand drum. I did the intro, and I never figured I'd keep it, and then I was like, I guess I'll just keep this. It worked out.
I love it. Mandolin is so cool. So that was really fun to just figure out. And so doing it at his place gives us a lot of flexibility. We're not confined by like studio time or whatever. So there's a lot of experimentation that goes on.
Do you have a home studio of your own to do your demos, or
I do.
Okay.
I do. It's very similar to yours, which I guess you can't, if you're listening, you can't see it, but I have a desk and a couple monitors.
Yeah.
And I have Logic Pro X is the DAW that I use. I have a little interface and my, couple guitars, a couple basses. I have a keyboard. It's just all right there. Like I can just sit and have everything kind of reachable. So when I make my demos, I just kind of do that. I'll program the drums on Logic. And then it's just like I plug in I have a Line 6 HX Stomp, which is like a mini Helix kind of. So like it's a modeler thing, but it has a lot of presets. So lately I'll plug that into my interface and I plug the bass in. I'll do the bass, get a bass setting.
Yeah.
I'll plug in my acoustic, do an acoustic setting. It's like, it's so easy to just use that. And I don't worry too much about tones on my demos. I just try to get the ideas out, and tone is something that we kind of refine later. But yeah, so I do have a home studio and it's really good. I'm just not that good at mixing. I'm trying to learn. I'm good at mixing a demo. I've learned enough to do that and to EQ it and, you know, add the stuff you need to add to make it sound like come to life a little bit, but it's not like final mixing or mastering that I'm doing. But otherwise, I've recorded bass lines and vocals and keys parts that I've used in final projects at my house before. Like, you know, I have when you run anything direct, especially, like, you can just record it right there. You could be in your bedroom, you could be in the office, you could be wherever, and it's going to have a really good signal and something that's really usable. So
that's the beauty of the modern age with recording. Like, you know, even just doing this podcast, we can sit here in this room and we got 2 mics hooked up, and by the time it's done, it sounds pretty professional, even though it's a one-man operation. It's me. Right? Yeah. 20 years ago, we'd have to go to a radio station and, you know, they'd have to set everything up and do all that. And just like, now, modern age is beautiful. It
is. It's so cool that you can DIY. Like we were talking about earlier, you can DIY so many things yourself. And it's been fun. It's been a curiosity of mine to learn how to record and track and mix. And I learned a little bit of that in high school when we did the original music with Irrashional. We did all that ourselves in the bedroom, you know, like set up with just what we had. And so that's been a fun learning process. But yeah, so this song, it came together pretty fast after that. I loved the up-tempo feel. It really inspired me that song came from a really emotional place, which I wrote it about my little brother, and he's in high school now, so he's not so little, but like as we've grown up together and gotten a little bit older, I look back and there's so many good memories that I have of us that I'm great. Like, I just like it actually makes me worried that like I don't want to forget any of this, you know. And I feel that way about my family and different things I've done too. So like I hope that people can relate to it in whatever way they want. You know, it's not just because I wrote about my brother doesn't mean you can't relate to a relationship or your family or a friend.
Songs mean different things to different people as they listen to them at different points in their lives.
Yeah.
Too.
So it's just kind of about like how can I preserve these memories and like still feel that joy for the rest of my life. Like I never want to forget how good it feels to love this person and like get to live you know, this amazing life alongside them or whatever. So that's where it came from. And so it was really inspiring to have it be an uplifting musically, with like adding all the instruments in and making it kind of sparkle that way was like really, it makes me happy instead of like cry to listen to it.
Was this the first song that you released under your own name?
It is.
Like it's yours. It's not, you know, somebody you co-wrote with or something you did, you know, with a band.
This is. This is.
That's great.
This is the first song, which was a little scary. It took me a little bit longer than I would have liked, I guess, or than I originally planned, just because, you know, because it's me, I second guess myself a lot, but,
sometimes you just got to put it out though.
Yeah.
You just got to be like, okay, you know, and I'm not the first person to say it, but people say they're like children's songs, you know, you just, at some point you got to say it's done. Let me just put it out into the world and be done with it. Yeah. And then, you know, maybe it'll take a life on its own and people enjoy it. And just do it. Cause I don't think you can just feed over it be Axl Rose with Chinese Democracy for 20 years, you know, and it's going to make it perfect. It's not, I can't, you know.
Yeah. It's not, it didn't help. I mean, it just made me question, like, so I had a really, really wonderful conversation with, and I don't know, I'm like, with an instructor of mine. So I do karate, and so I've been doing it for almost 3 years now. Something that I really enjoy. And it's helped me build my confidence a lot too, physically and mentally and just all around. And my instructor is incredible. He is very wise and just really positive. And so the other day I was talking to him before I left class, and he asked if I was ready to start testing for my new belt. Because it's a process. It maybe takes,
I know. I did my black belt in Taekwondo.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So it's not easy.
That's right. That's
if
so
you're
cool.
at a good school, let's just say that. If you're studying with somebody who's good,
Yeah.
it's worthwhile. They're not just handing it over to you.
Yes,
You
exactly.
have to work for it.
Exactly. And my instructor's big on like, it's not about chasing the next belt. Like, it's about learning and growing, so and you can do that at any belt, like obviously. So he's awesome, but I've been at this belt for actually like a year. I'm brown and green. So I'm like, I'm like halfway to black belt kind of. So I was like, well, I think, yeah. I mean, no, well, do you think I'm ready? I mean, this is how it sounded. And he was like, how do you not feel ready? And I was like, well, I don't know, like maybe I need to I should study more, and just, cause part of the test is it's a written test, and I was like, maybe I need to study more for that. I don't know if I'm ready.
Right.
And he was like, ma'am, like if you keep telling yourself you're not ready, you're never going to be ready.
Sometimes you just got to jump in.
And I was like, you know what, you're right. And I think he was waiting for me to come, because the next time I came to class, I journaled on it, and I was like, this is really important, because this is not just about karate right now for me. I know this is something that I've felt in other areas, especially my songwriting, getting my songs out there. Like, I'm not ready yet. I need to learn more about distribution. I need to learn more about how to promote it. I need to learn more about how I can reach people with it, how I can, and that stops me. That adds another month. And before I know it, I'm like, man, I want to get the song out there last summer, and I haven't gotten it out there yet because I don't feel like I'm ready. I haven't learned enough. And so, yeah, I went back to karate the next time we trained, and he was like, ma'am, are you ready for your test? And I was like, yes, sir. I think I said yes. I said, yes, I am. And he was like, okay, good. I was like, I knew that was what he wanted to hear from me, was the confidence that I was ready. And so actually it might have been that night or something. It was just recently I uploaded my song for distribution, so it will be out soon. And it was like, yeah, no more hesitating. There's always time, take the time to learn and educate yourself. Yeah. I mean, that's important. It's not like you can just jump into anything right away.
I hate to sound like this, and don't take this the wrong way, because I had to put it into my head when I released my EP. Nobody cares.
Oh yeah.
Like you care. And I care. And, maybe some friends care. But you haven't gone into the studio with Atlantic Records and made spent $1 million on this, and the record company's counting on you to release this, to recoup. The only pressure is an internal pressure that we put on ourselves. Yeah. There's not an external pressure, Oh, we got to get this song out, Payton, because we're going on tour next year, and you got to have this ready. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, it's in your contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's none of that. It's like,
That's true.
Release it. Enjoy, do it.
Yeah. That's so true and so important. It's like, as much as I thought, like I'm waiting because I want to know how to distribute it the right way so that it reaches a lot of people. And it's like, I did kind of have to look back and be like, what am I a little bit too worried about the success of the song? Like, my original goal, like my why, is I want to put it out there and hopefully it can be something good. But honestly, it's also been something good for me to just do it. It's been a goal of mine to write a song and release it.
I think that's the bigger thing.
And
the second one.
And thank you. It's just like, that is, and my dad is really big on this. So is my mom. My dad really impressed it to me. Like, if you went through the process and you learned, you've been wanting to do this, hopefully, you do it because you care and you want to have the experience, and it's fun. because you enjoy it. That's why you want to write songs,
Absolutely.
not because you're so worried about if I don't upload to Spotify the right way, then I won't get a million streams. Like, okay, yeah, that's I was a little too worried about that. And I put it out, and I posted it on social media a few times, and people have been so sweet. They seem to enjoy the song. It got more I got more feedback, more positive feedback than I anticipated, just putting it out there. So that was like a bonus, like kind of what we were saying. It should be like, that's a bonus.
I'm just curious, do you have more songs that you're releasing? I know you say you got another one coming out. Was there a reason that you wanted to just not release them both at the same time? Is there a reason you're just releasing singles? Is it like for more traction? Or just, you can have a release here, and then a few months later, let me release another one, and you just keep your name out there? Because when I released mine, I was just like, no, I'm just writing this whole EP.
And just releasing the EP.
That. Because you have released the EP before with Irrashional.
Exactly.
So are you thinking differently now, or was it just you only wrote one or two songs and worked on them?
It is interesting. Because since we did the EP thing, I definitely get that, because we didn't even release singles and then release the EP. We're just like EP, boom. Mm-hmm. And I think EP is short enough that's still digestible.
Yeah.
Like an album. Like from my research, it seems like singles are the thing right now that is the easiest to be digested by people. Just a little bit at a time.
Sure.
Not a huge chunk of it. Release a whole album and expect people to be able to get through it or whatever. So I've read like, hey, if you release singles, like release them in succession, and then you can release them as an EP or something. I mean, like you were saying earlier, things change so much. It's all just kind of, sometimes I feel like it's trial and error. Let me just try this. Let me just try releasing a single and see how it does. I could try releasing an EP and see how it does. Like, you never really know for sure how your audience is going to respond to it. And I am just kind of going off of two things. One is that I have read that singles are the kind of the current best way to distribute one little bit at a time. And also that I am just writing one song at a time and recording one song at a time. And now I do have two that are kind of ready around the same time. Right. But, I kind of want to, the real reason I'm not releasing at the same time is because I want to draw it out a little bit. Like, I think I'll have some more ready by the end of the spring. I think it'd be nice to like, I'll give you one, and I'll see how people like that. And then I'll do another one and just kind of space them out.
Yeah. And if you feel like
whatever.
they fit together in a nice little package, you could release them at the same time. I think when I did my EP, and maybe the same thing you guys did with Irrational, you kind of wrote them all around the same time period. Yeah. So they all kind of have a similar feel to them, and then you can release it as a package, as opposed to like, I just have this song and this song, which would, it always harkens back to whatever, 50 years ago. Got the A side and the B side.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just going to release this. And the main song was Unforgettable You. And the second song, even though you didn't, it still fits. It may not fit as well together. Let's release that as the B side kind of thing.
Yeah. That's so funny. I didn't think about doing it as an A side, B side, but I love that thought, because I have like 45s at home. Like my mom gave me a box set of Beatles 45s. So it's like so cool to think about that. But yeah, I mean, I don't really feel like there's gotta be a right or wrong way.
Right.
I mean, part of it is just like, what do I have the mental capacity for right now? Like with these songs, like two are ready, and I'm like, okay, well, you got to do one you got to figure out what you're going to do with one of them first. Yeah. And then the second, now it's like, okay, I got that one uploaded. It's ready to go out. Now let me think about this other one. And so I may release the second song a couple weeks later. I may be ready to just go ahead and upload it and get it out. So Unforgettable will come out, and then the second one may come out very shortly after. I think that would be kind of cool. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's definitely, honestly, what you said about nobody cares. Like, I do kind of tell myself that when I start to overthink, I tell myself like, it's not that important. And it sounds like, no, Payton, don't say that about yourself, you know, like, but like I'd probably say it to somebody if they said nobody cares. I'd be like, yes, we do care. But it's really just like, take a deep breath. It's not the end of the world if you know, like I'm still learning about this. I'm still trying out different things. The most important thing is that I kind of have fun with it, I think, because that's going to translate to everybody. Like, if I want to create this energy for people, I got to have the energy first, you know?
And again, when I
it's
say
like a live performance.
When I say nobody cares, it's not a mean thing. It's just like, we put all these pressures on ourselves that it's got to be perfect and it's got to be the right time. We got to do all the right things.
Yes.
But, you know, in the end, we're all just people and we're going to make mistakes and it might not be the first time, you know? A learning curve going on tour with Al. Yeah. You know, you're putting out music for the first time. I had a learning curve doing it. I had to learn how to do it. You got to learn how. We're all learning how to do it. I mean, the music industry today is just filled with learning curves. Especially the new music industry, releasing everything and doing everything DIY. Yeah. Oh, I released this, then what do I do after the release? How do I promote this? How do I do this? How do I do that? You know? Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's too much.
Like, how did you navigate when you put your EP out? Like, getting ready for it. So the recordings are ready and you're deciding like how you want to distribute it. I mean, how did you, like, what was your mindset on all that?
I had just learned how to do it. Like, and I did it. So like, I was pretty simple with it. I was like, okay, I'm going to make a physical copy because I want this. So I went to CD Baby and CD Baby does distribution. So they do that. And then I learned, okay, I also got to copyright this before I send it up for distribution. And then I got to get ISRC codes and I got to do this and I got to get this. All right. And then
there's a lot of acronyms.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, what's a PRO? What's an MRO? What's it?
Yeah, like, I don't even know what they stand for. I just know what they do. And then I decided I was going to do videos. So I hired some guy on Fiverr and they did some lyric videos for me. And then I realized, okay, I'll do three of them I did videos for, and the instrumental I didn't, which I always think, man, I maybe should do a video for that, you know?
You always could.
Yeah. I can just always release it. And then, you know, I put it out and, you know, it's like, I get embarrassed, but then I don't get embarrassed because I'm like, I see people who do that, Spotify thing, like, my CD got 50,000 listens this year in 75 countries. And I'm like, I get mine from Spotify and it's like, oh yeah, 2 new listeners this year in one country. And I'm like, I don't care. I put it out. I do things though, like different. Like I put it out because I want to, because it was a goal of mine. I wanted to release some original music. Yeah. Because people always ask, oh, do you have any recordings out? And I'm like, I wanted to be like, yes, I do. Here it is. This is my recording. Years ago, it's going to be 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. I had an idea for a screenplay and I wanted to write a screenplay. And I was like, okay. And I wrote it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I wrote a screenplay. 120 pages maybe. And I was just like, so I just want to write it. What? And I never did anything with it. And I have it. And everybody who's read it is like, that's really good. And now I may do an AI movie and decide, you know, at some point, like, I've got all the props. I've got the screenplay. I know how it goes. I can write a movie myself and do it as an AI.
You're a screenwriter.
I'm not. I'm just somebody who just had an idea and decided to do it. So
that's so cool. That's so inspiring to me because I get those kind of wild ideas too. Like I want to write a book. I want to write I've always thought it's cool to write screenplays. I don't know where I got that idea, but it just seems like fun. And, you know, sometimes I'm like, is this distracting me from my music? Like, you know, earlier when we talked about people who are like, this is my one thing and they're just, they're excellent at it. I'm like, do I want to be excellent? Like, do I need to just focus or can I explore these other interests I have? So it's so cool to hear about somebody who I like look up to. It's like doing cool side projects like that. Absolutely.
I'm just a guy who just, you know, I set my mind on something and I just want to do it. Like we were talking about martial arts, right? So I never set on getting a black belt. I just wanted to try it.
Wow.
And I was like, I've always wanted to do this since I was a kid. And then I got involved with it, and I was like, okay, all right, I got my white belt. Well, I got my yellow, I got my green, and then I was like, finally, I was like, all right, let's just do this, and I'll get to the black belt. I didn't feel the need to continue and do,
second degree,
second Bochidan, third Bochidan. I wasn't as in love with it, and I had other things that I was accomplishing and wanted to do. And I just think life is so short. If you want to do something, do it. It's like, look, I wanted to do martial arts. I did it. I wanted to write a screenplay. I did it. I wanted to write a blog. I wrote a blog about guitar teaching for 10 years or something like that. I want to do a podcast. Now the podcast is 7 years old. Like, just do it, because life is too short. You don't want to turn around and be like, I was too scared to start it, or I thought about it and I never did it. I have a buddy who's written children's books and done written articles from Guitar Magazine. Just all this stuff. Just do it. If you want to do it, do it.
That's so cool. I love that. Yeah, I'm feeling very inspired by that. I know that that's what original music was for me. I said for so many years, like since Irrashional put our EP out. Yeah. And then I was like, through college, I'm like, I want to write music. I want to be an original musician. Blah, blah, blah. I kept saying that, but I wasn't doing it. And it wasn't the right time for me. But I felt like I got to do it now, or else, it's not going to happen. And that pressure is still something that that anxiety is something that I'm working hard to overcome, because I do feel like there is there's like some pressure that like everybody, I have a lot of people saying, do it while you're young, do it while you're young, do it while you're young. And I'm like, I'm scared. It's
BS.
And so thank you for saying that.
You got your whole life ahead of you. Look, I'm 55 and I didn't release this music till I was like 50. Like, you do it when you come across things in life when you're ready to do them. And now you can just say, I've released music.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, just do it and enjoy it. I mean, it's a process. And I think anybody who tells you they have figured it out is just full of it. We're all figuring it out. We're building the plane in the air our whole lives, figuring it out as you're going, and just do it. It's just, whatever. That is really comforting though, because I don't feel like something's wrong with me for like the years that I would say like, I want to write music. I want to. Why is it so hard for me? Why am I not getting it? Why am I not happy with what I'm writing? It was like when I was in college, it was that way. I would try to sit down and write and I would just be like, is this garbage? Is this garbage? Like, I know we're not supposed to judge our art, but this is garbage. Like, but you have that discerning ear. So that's why you didn't release it. But then now you've got Unforgettable You and you're like, I like this. I found my voice. Maybe those the songs weren't your voice.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's true. And I was still in that learning phase of like being influenced by people and be like, should I write a song that sounds like that? Like it was still kind of coming out like sounding like something that was very heavily influenced by one particular song or band or something, me trying to write a cool riff. Like that was my thing for a while because I was so into Zeppelin. I'm like, Jimmy Page, like I want to be like Jimmy Page. So I want to try to write riffs like Jimmy Page. And I'm like, why can't I write a riff like Jimmy Page?
Not Jimmy Page.
And I'd be like, drive myself nuts, and I'd write a riff, finally I'd go show it to my dad and he'd be like, this sounds like what? It was already a riff that somebody had written. I'm like, no, this riff has already been written. And it's just so funny. And I at the time I beat myself up because I'm like, for one way or another, I would get mad at myself. And now I finally feel like I'm ready. I'm fully embracing it. I don't contract. I know this is like my basic test. When I think about something that I want to do or that I'm doing, and it's like, if I feel like I contract when I think about it, something's not quite right. If I feel like I expand into it, like, yeah, I want to, I have ideas. I am creative. Then that's like, it's time for me, And for a while I contracted. Anytime it'd be like somebody would say something about writing original music, I'd be like, I was like,
Well, you never feel like, look, I'm older than you. So like, I can honestly say it took me a long time to even say that I think I had it in me to write original music. Like I didn't think that was me I was a teacher. I was a guitar player. I played, I thought I was just the guy, just a regular musician. I didn't think I had a voice to write my own stuff. And then I did. And I was like, oh, I can do this. Well, let's try some other stuff and see what other kind of genres I can mess around with and see. I mean,
that's such a good perspective, though, because I feel the same exact way. It was like, I see people who are like, since they were very early teenager, they're just writing songs. They know I'm a songwriter. And I'm like, I wasn't that way. I wasn't even that way at that age where I was like, I'm a performer. And now, of course, that I've been doing it for like, I don't know, 8 years, I guess. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a performer. Like, I feel confident in my identity as being somebody who does that. And now it's like, I think it's going to be that way with songwriting. Like, maybe in a few years, I'll look back and be like, yeah, I'm a songwriter. Now I'm kind of like, I'm a budding songwriter. I'm getting used to it. I'm dipping my toes in. I'm having a lot of fun with it. For the first time, I'm having so much fun without judging myself. And I think that's important. But it's like, as much as I wished I had that earlier, it's not like you can force that. I wish I didn't feel that way through college. I wish I didn't judge my songs. I wish I didn't feel pressured to write something that I thought was good. But
I think everybody does, though. We all judge our own stuff, and we judge it more harshly than somebody else. Somebody will listen to it and goes, damn, Payton, that's genius. I love the way you did this. And you're like, God, I hated that. Why did I do this? I should have did this. So what? It's you're gonna find out what works for you, and you're gonna find that working modality. I think.
Yeah.
We all do.
Thank you.
I mean, it takes time.
Yeah, it does, and I'm just happy to see how much I've grown to this point. I know it'll be continued growth, and I just have to look at it that way. And there's no timeline on that. It's just whatever it has to be. But,
but I do want to change the subject a little bit on you. So we've been talking about your songwriting.
Yeah.
Let's just jump in real quick and talk about these tribute bands you've got. Because as if you weren't busy enough, going on tour with Al, writing your own stuff in the studio, and now you've got not only a Fleetwood Mac tribute band, you're doing a Rush tribute band. So I guess my first question is, which came first, the chicken or the egg? The Rush tribute band or the Fleetwood Mac? Oh. So which one was first?
The Fleetwood Mac tribute was first.
Is that your group, or did you jump into it? Somebody was looking for a player?
The latter. I joined the group. So it was already an existing project. It's called Landslide, a tribute to Fleetwood Mac. We're Landslide NC on social media, like North Carolina NC. I'll
put a link for that in the show notes.
Thanks. I joined like a year and a half ago, and it was originally they needed a sub because their keyboardist had just become a mom and was not able to commit full time. Yeah. And so I learned the set, and I wasn't a big Fleetwood Mac fan at the time.
And now you are.
And now I am. Now I'm obsessed.
They're great.
But I knew the people in the band, and they're amazing people, and I was like, well, I'd love to work with you, and whatever. Like Fleetwood Mac, whether I love it or not, it would be really cool to still do it.
So you're playing the part of Christy McVie.
Yes, I am playing Christine.
So McVie. Do you do a blonde wig and all that? Or
no, I don't.
Do you guys do costumes and stuff?
We try to dress in the spirit of Fleetwood Mac, at least.
Okay.
Especially me and Karen, who plays Stevie. Everybody else dresses like very 70s. You'd have to ask them. I don't know if they inspire their outfits based on those band members or not. I'm ignorant to that, but from a girly perspective, we definitely do. But I am not blonde like Christine. I don't think I look anything like Christine McVie, but but she was like, she would dress very elegantly. She had this cool 70s vibe. So I tried to embody that, and wear like the blazer and the neck scarf, and just kind of like I wear some bell bottoms sometimes or whatever, and try to embody that. I just feel like when I look at her, she was like, she had grace and class and elegance. And so I try to embody that. In what I wear and how I present myself on stage. I'm not like crazy, of course. So that's more how I embody her versus just trying to look exactly like her. And it seems to go over well. People understand, like, you don't have to wear blonde, wig. So thankfully, because I would think I would kind of look a little ridiculous if I tried to,
Hey, there are some of those tribute bands that do it. Like
Oh, definitely. No, yeah. I'm not against, by the way, I'm not against wearing wigs and dressing up like them at all.
There's certain things that I think are interesting. And then I guess there's a whole bunch of levels to tribute band. There's a tribute band that goes out and they play the music. And then there's a tribute bands who try to be that band and act like that band while they're on stage. And, to the extreme, I guess, so I was just curious, is Landslide kind of like right in between that where they're
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. We don't talk to the crowd like we're them. I have seen bands kind of do that.
I've seen that and I don't like that.
It's like, we're going to go back to our fourth album back. I remember back when I don't know. But so we, we're Landslide. Like we present ourselves as a tribute band and, just say like, thank you for, we love playing this music. It means a lot to us, but still giving them the experience. We try to do the music a lot of justice. I actually love playing the songs live. Made me fall in love with the music more because we rock up a lot of the songs, like just this, the live way we do it. Like some of the Fleetwood Mac stuff's more acoustic. Like Gold Dust Woman, for example. I love the way that we do that song live. And I feel like I'm not really, I came in and they had the arrangements done. They basically told me what to learn. They're like, here's your keys parts, here's your vocal parts. And I came in and they had already done all that. So I look at it as, I love the way we do it. They kind of wrote all the arrangements before I even joined the band. But, so I can't take credit for that. But, it's just a little heavier. It's a little deeper, like dirty, like, a little grittier, like with the guitars a little bit more present. We really send it with the 3-part harmonies. We add some harmonies in some places. It just feels right. The drums and the bass together live just really push in a way that I wasn't used to hearing those songs. Yeah. And so it's been really fun to do that project. And I just fell in love with the music in a way that I never thought. And Christy McVie has become a huge inspiration to me. Like I look up to her so much and her songs are so good and like the timeless kind of songs, that like are good in any context, not just it was the 70s and like they're cool because it's that 70s rock. Like they're just good songs no matter where you like listen to them. They're just so amazing.
So I know we talked about this way earlier, but when you're going back and learning the piano parts, are you picking them out by ear or are you getting like, all right, I'm just going to go find the sheet music to it and get the exact parts so I don't have to spend, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing either way, but sometimes it's easier just to get the music, and I've talked about that with the Rush stuff too, is it's time consuming to sit and transcribe stuff. It really is. Like there's oud stuff and music I transcribe and I'm like, okay, let me write this out and let me transcribe this and let me get the rhythm. I mean, to get everything the way you want it. What are you doing? Are you picking it out just by ear?
For the Fleetwood Mac, yes. I just picked it out by ear. They sent me some isolated tracks of the girl that was in the band before me.
Okay, great.
So that really helped. I was like, this just became a lot easier to pick out.
That is nice.
And she did. She had a great performance, so I was able to pick it out pretty. But at the same time, it was very time consuming because even if it's isolated keys, you're still picking it out. Like, is this the chord voicing or is it a different inversion of the chord voicing, and a little bit, there's some parts in that music that I play exactly. Okay, this is the organ riff or whatever. And this is the piano part. It's iconic. You can't change it. But then there's some parts that I improvise actually a little bit within the scope of what they were doing. Like my part on Rhiannon, it's like this marimba thing that I'm playing on the keyboards. And it's just like, the song is very simple in terms of chords. Dreams is kind of that way too. Like I throw in some little licks there. I change up the rhythms here and there. Like it's nothing dramatic, but it gives me a little freedom to play around with it where I wasn't learning it note for note because it's just the rhythm keyboard part, whatever.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I didn't use any tabs or sheet music for Fleetwood Mac, and same with the vocals. I just learned them by ear. But
so did somebody recommend you? Just curious, did somebody recommend you for this gig, or did they have an opening and you saw an ad in the paper? Something?
Well, they reached out to me about joining the band. I don't know if it was one person who recommended me, but we have a lot of mutuals, like me and this band.
Gotcha.
They played a lot of venues that I've played, and we've seen each other. And I played an event back, it was 2024. It was in May, called Back the Blue, which was honoring the fallen police officers who had been killed in duty here in Charlotte. So they had an event to raise money for the families.
That's beautiful.
So I played solo there, and then Landslide played, and so that was like the first time that we actually met and saw.
Gotcha.
And it's like it was very shortly after that they were like, they knew they were going to look for another keyboardist, and they were looking for people who could do it, maybe wanted to. So I think it was just kind of like meeting and kind of networking there. And then we have a lot of mutual friends. So that kind of came about really organically, basically. And then they asked me to join full time. So I went from a sub to very quickly being the full time.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Thanks. And now, but when I go on the road, they have subs for me. So I'm not necessarily playing every show with them, because when I played with Al, they played all summer, and I had already committed to doing Al when I joined Landslide, so I kind of went in saying, full disclosure, like, I love being in your band and I'm so happy you want me, and I am committed to going on tour next summer, and I have some other things that I'm doing, and they were like, oh yeah, we want you. So that meant a lot.
Where do you guys, with Landslide, where are they primarily playing? Are they playing theaters? Are they playing smaller clubs, or like all the above?
Kind of a little bit of both. A lot of theaters, mostly. And I think in the summer they do more outdoor stage stuff. I say I think because I've never actually played a summer with them yet.
Gotcha.
But I've done a lot of indoor, performing arts center theater stuff with them. And a little bit of we've played some bars and type venues like that. And those are fun too. So they're doing some nice mid-sized venues though. I don't know if that's the right term, but we'll play little theaters. But we play a lot in the Southeast. So North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, we frequent. We play in Georgia probably more than we play in North Carolina. Actually.
Do you know how far they travel? Is that Georgia the farthest they travel, or would you guys go down to Florida or up to New York or something like that? Yeah,
we would travel. I mean, they've done Alabama last summer. I think maybe they played Florida. It's just more, the shows I played with them have been more in that region, but I think, I don't want to speak for them because I don't have any part in managing the band, but as far as I know, they're excited to keep expanding and traveling as long as we just keep getting out there and keep making the connections, and we could book show anywhere if it works out, that would be cool. I mean, we have a band van. We pretty much drive everywhere and, take our trailer and stuff, but as they started it a few years before I joined, and it's grown, and they've done an amazing job. They really lead. They do it very well. Like the Landslide, the whole Karen and Mick are the husband and wife that are kind of the core of the band. Yeah, and then their management and booking agent, they just do it really well. They do all the things right. So
there you go. That's a good thing.
So it's kind of naturally just spread and become more of a thing, but I think it's because they do it so well.
Well, this seems awesome for your career. You're just learning all these different aspects of, the music industry, through touring and playing with different levels of bands, and it's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, and then you got this. What's that?
I know I'm probably going to ask about the camera eye.
Yeah. So is it okay to talk about that?
Absolutely. I'm so excited.
So how did this group come about? You're the Rush tribute band, Camera Eye.
Well, this was a dream project for me. It came about after last year. I played this event called Prague for Wishes, which takes place here in Charlotte at the Visualite Theater.
Yeah.
we just played, since it's always in February, and we just played it this year.
I missed the first one.
I missed the first one too.
No, the first show, the Visualite. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, the Camera Eyes show.
Gosh.
I thought you were talking about
I must
Prague
have
for
bugged
Wishes.
out for a second.
You're
Yeah,
good.
because you guys played it.
Prague for Wishes.
All right, sorry. Back
You're good.
up for me. So you did Prague for Wishes last year. Okay.
Yeah. So, so basically this project was born out of the Prague for Wishes thing that we did.
Got it.
And, sorry if I was confusing.
No, I just must have just.
You're good. We've
farted
only
for a
been
second.
talking for 5 hours. But yeah, so Prague for Wishes is amazing. It's a progressive rock concert.
Yeah.
He calls it like an all-star progressive rock concert. So it's really cool. It's like 30 different Charlotte musicians. It's a different lineup every year. And it's just the community getting involved to raise money for Make-A-Wish. So all the proceeds go to Make-A-Wish.
Yes.
And it's one of my favorite nights of the entire year. It's always so much fun, and the music is always so good because it's a bunch of musicians getting together to play a bunch of progressive stuff that we don't really ever play anywhere else.
Yeah, there's not a lot of opportunities for Prague these days. And that's put together by Matt Hedrick.
Yes.
And shameless plug, Matt Hedrick was on episode 73 of the Queen City Music Podcast to talk about Prague for Wishes. So he was on, yes.
Definitely go listen to that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Matt is an incredible human being. And so I played my first year of Prague for Wishes. It was a blast. The second year, I came back and I was like, I want to do Rush's 2112, because he gives us freedom to, pick what we want to play. You get a 20-minute set and it just kind of has to be approved, make sure that it's, suitable for the event or whatever. And so I was like, I want to do 2112. And I was like, I just need a drummer and a guitar player. Actually, maybe I already had a guitar player at that point. My friend Caleb played guitar, but I was like, I asked a few people to play drums and they just couldn't do it. And so I told Matt, and I think all along he was kind of like, he's like, as the organizer, he's super humble. He's just like, doesn't want to be, he's like, I don't want to be the guy who's up on stage the whole time, And I'm like, well, but it would be fun if you played with us. Like, you love Rush. I love Rush. Like, we're going to do 2112. It'd be so much fun. He's like, okay, let's just do it, And so we played 2112 together. And that was a year ago. And after that, it felt so magical to play that song live. Like the whole thing, all 20 minutes of it. It was a dream. And after that, we were like, this is so fun to play this music for a crowd of people who love it. It's all prog rock fans there. It's like, this energy is unbelievable. When you play Rush for Rush fans, it's like, yeah. It's just off the charts. Like, everybody gets so excited and we get excited. It's just like, we want to keep doing this. This is way too much fun. So we decided to do a show, later that year after I got home from tour. We didn't really immediately decide we're going to start a Rush tribute. It was more like, we're just going to do another show. Like, let's do a full show. We were like, what should we do? We ended up deciding that we were going to do all of the albums, Moving Pictures and Permanent Waves. And so 2 of Rush's kind of most famous albums. Right. And considered kind of like masterpiece albums. They're just so good all the way through. There's amazing albums. So we're like, we'll learn these 2 albums and we'll play it live, and that'll be like the show. And then as we were learning the music and putting it together, we're like, well, we need a band name, and we need, and then it kind of just turned into, we want to do, like, we don't want this to be a one-time thing. If this goes well, we would love to keep doing it. And before we had even done the show, we kind of decided that. So, it was definitely a dream project for Matt and I. We had talked even a few years before about, it would be so cool for like us to do a Rush thing together. And it just wasn't the right time. Again, I was in college. He's retired now. So at the time he wasn't. So it was like, for both of us, I think it was just not feasible. We want to do it, but it's not the right time. So so I'm really happy that it came together this year, and we did our first show in November as the Camera Eye, and we played those 2 albums, and it was probably the hardest musical thing I've ever undertaken. Like, it was very hard.
How so?
Well,
I mean, Rush's music is hard, yes.
yeah. Besides the music just being hard, we made the decision to do those 2 albums. Well, it was basically while I was on the road with Al. Like, we were kind of figuring out what we wanted to do with the show. And before I left, I was learning all the material for Al. So I hadn't learned any of the material until I basically got back from tour with Al. Okay. So I tried to pick out a few of the bass parts on my guitar, for like the last month of the tour, which did help. So I kind of got a head start on that. But when I got home, I had about 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks until our first rehearsal to learn all the music. And so just having that short amount of time made it hard because I don't know, it's just so much to learn in such a short amount of time. And we wanted to do the music justice and learn it as closely as possible to what Rush did, or like at least do it in the spirit of Rush. Like there's a few little parts that I decided I'm not going to learn exactly what Geddy did, but I've studied Geddy's playing for so long that I'm like, I'm going to do something that he would have done, or I hear the live, I hear the album, I kind of combine the two, whatever, you know. So, but most of it is learned pretty note for note. And all the keyboard programming took an extreme amount of time. I knew there was a lot of keyboards on those records, but I didn't realize quite how much keyboard it was. And I had done some keyboard programming, but this was more advanced than what I knew how to do. What I knew I needed to do was more advanced than what I knew how to do. So I had to educate myself on how to do that. There's a lot of samples and sound effects and a lot of sequencing that, you know, we were like, we're not playing to a click track or anything, but there's sequencing in some of these songs. So how are we going to do that? I'll sequence it. Matt, crank it up in your ears. That's basically what we did.
So you guys didn't want to add, you wanted to make it like Rush with 3 people. You didn't want to add a keyboard player and you could just play bass and sing.
Yes, that's right. I have the foot pedals and everything. I was like, I really wanted
to. Now you see what a lot of work they had to do, and they're the guys who wrote it, huh?
Yeah, I know, right? It's absolutely blows my mind, and it's so much fun though. At the same time, it's like I wouldn't want it any other way. Even though it was a lot of work, it was really fun work, and I learned a lot from it about, you know,
keyboards,
basically keyboards. Yeah, I mean, I learned how to be a better bass player too. I feel like my bass chops improved, but like I had to learn YYZ for the first time and stuff. I had never fully learned that, and it was a challenge just to pull off, like as a player. And then, just all the programming. So it was so much fun though. And we're going to have another show in March, which that may have already happened by the time you're listening to this, which is cool. We're going to have more shows hopefully in the future.
What's the March date? Do you know offhand?
It's March 28th. Yeah, March 28th.
I think I got something. I think I've got a concert that night. Darn it. I'm going to see a jazz band.
Oh, that's cool.
Sorry, Gypsy Jazz. I love Gypsy Jazz.
Oh, I do too. That's really cool.
Dang. So are you guys going to be playing a lot more, or are you just doing the one show?
We hope to. It's right now we're all busy. The other 2 guys in the band are in a Genesis tribute band that you probably talked to Matt about. It's called Abacab.
Those guys were on, too.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're going to make me look and see what episode they were on.
Please do endorse them, because they're my goats. Like, they're so amazing.
Pete's been on, and then by himself, Pete Lentz, and then also he was on with Cliff Stankwitz.
Nice. I love those guys so much. I love them.
Shameless brag. There's too many podcast episodes. I've got to
guys, go listen to the Abacab episode and Pete. My mom told me as I was walking out the door today, she's like, "Oh, by the way, when Pete goes on Matt's podcast, they always nerd out about Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and stuff."
Yeah, we have completely different points of view. And by the way, Pete, you're wrong if you're listening.
If you made it this far in the podcast, Pete, this is your reward. You get to hear.
You're wrong. Episode 36, the music of Abacab of the Queen City Music Podcast. And at another point, let me see, I'll find Pete. But Pete and I geek out over that stuff because I have determined that the reason that Pete and I, and probably Pete would fully agree, we have differing views on it because Pete just loves to see Star Wars. Like, it doesn't matter. He just wants to see the lightsabers. He wants to see the stuff on the screen, and he'll just fall in love with it. I, on the other hand, am a little more hardcore. Like, I need a good story. I need like the good effects. I don't need to see nonsense. Like, no, like I need everything.
Yeah.
You know, and Pete has a different opinion, and that's fine. You know?
Yeah.
Pete was on episode 61, but he was talking about not really the music of Babcat, but his Brookstone Bards. So check all these episodes out, folks.
That's so cool. But yeah, I definitely kind of share your opinions about Star Wars.
Don't talk to Pete. He'll drive you crazy.
I like watching the newer stuff, but it's like it's kind of disappointed me in some ways. The sequel trilogy is.
Well, you know what'll be interesting is, since people are making AI movies, it'll be interesting to see, because I've seen some short movies of people doing Star Wars stuff, and it's really spectacular. So you're gonna have, I think you'll have all these independent movie makers making short Star Wars films via AI, because I'm like, wow, this is people with some wonderful ideas putting together these films.
That's great. Well, I love watching the Star Wars Theory YouTube channel.
Yeah. Oh, he's great.
And he makes them cinematic, and he does the voices, and he makes, like, it'll be, you know, what if, I don't know, like Anakin like stuck up for Mace Windu, you know, or whatever, like, and he didn't die or whatever. So it'll follow that whole storyline and be like a 20-minute thing. Like, I love those, but he's kind of like a George Lucas purist kind of, you know, so I'm more, I like sympathize.
Do you do the
that
cartoons? Are you Clone Wars?
No, I know I haven't seen the Clone Wars.
Clone Wars starts off a little weak, but the stories get better and better, and you almost start to forget that they're cartoon characters. After a while, you're like, I've got to see. And there's a few characters that I really like. I like Ahsoka Tano, but I think that the live action was kind of weak. They could have did it. The character in the show had a great arc. It was really spectacular the way they did it. But we'll see what they're going to do, man. They're breaking my heart right now.
Are you excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie?
No. Not at all. The first season of that was good. By the third season, it had fallen off the wagon.
Third season, I didn't finish. My dad and I were watching it, and we're like, what? We're confused. But I loved the first season so much. I became like the Grogu. He's all over my room and walls and everything. Like, he's so cute. I love him.
You mean Grogu?
There he is. There he is. He's so cute.
And the thing, don't even get me started on Boba Fett. He's like my favorite Star Wars character of all time, and they have just destroyed him with that television show. It was just awful. I'm sorry. Sorry, Lucasfilm. It was awful.
Well, I think they had a new change in direction, I think, there just recently. We'll see. Maybe
Kathleen
change
Kennedy
direction.
left.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it was.
See, that's the thing. I keep thinking about doing another podcast and talking about stuff like this and just talking.
It's so fun. So I was excited when my mom told me, like, oh, they like to geek out about that. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Well, now you can join us one time. We'll do a special episode and just have local musicians talking about Star Wars.
That'd be fun. That'd be so fun. Okay, let's do it.
Pete will get mad. we can team up and be like, sorry, Pete, it sucked. And you're like, no, it didn't. You're wrong.
I'm excited for this movie because I love the characters. I really do. The Mandalorian's my favorite, like, new Star Wars thing that they did. And,
the first few seasons were good. Here's the thing, though. I mean, when I loved Star Wars, the originals, and Boba Fett came out, the mystery about that character was everything. You didn't know it much about him. And part of it that ruined it for me was like multiplication. Well, if one Boba Fett is good, let's make a whole planet of Boba Fetts and let's call them the Mandalorians. And now it's not this one guy who's mysterious. And then, you know, it's like, oh, you just ruined it. You could have made one really good character.
Multiply the Boba Fett.
Yeah. Let's just make 1 million Boba Fetts. And now you got the TV show has like little kid Boba Fetts because now they're trained to be Boba Fett. I'm like, oh, you just killed me.
That's so funny, but it's kind of funny. It's true though to hear, like, it's a good reminder for us in certain aspects, but like less is more sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, like we don't have to overexpand. Like I was think it was probably Star Wars theory because I've watched so many of his videos that the George Lucas, like the first few Star Wars movies, they do a lot of showing, not telling.
Yes.
You kind of have to figure out what is going on. Of course, they drop you right in the middle. When you see the prequels, those didn't exist before. So they're like, you're trying to piece it all together with Vader and who is he and all this. Yeah. Like, they do a lot of showing. And I could see where you said that element of mystique, like you were saying, whereas the later movies, like all the dialogue is telling you exactly what's happening. It's just telling you. Yeah. And, it's not as rich in that way, I think. So that's maybe something that returning to that would maybe be helpful.
Yeah.
Not just saying this is Boba Fett. This is everything that happened to Boba Fett after, like.
Yeah, I don't need to know that.
Like,
I need some mystery.
Maybe that's why you like that character, because you wanted to imagine what happened or whatever. Like, it's kind of funny that you say that, because I always wondered, for people whose favorite characters are a character that's like such a small part of the whole, like they don't have that much screen time or they don't have that much lore, we don't know that much about them, but these people are like so committed to this character, like you were saying about Boba Fett. I'm like, I wanted to understand that psychology, because like, how can you fall in love with him when he's you don't know that much about him, but it's like, that makes so much sense, though. That's like, it's not necessarily only what the only thing you didn't like about him is just what you know. It's also what you didn't know about him. Like,
and what you
so
imagined,
cool.
like this guy's a bounty hunter. Oh man, he's dangerous. Like that whole film, like he doesn't do much besides shoot at Luke Skywalker. Like that's his danger. And then in the end, he gets killed by flying his jetpack. Like one of the coolest things about him you don't see, but it farts out. He gets killed. And you're just like, man. But maybe he's not as dangerous as we thought.
Yeah, but you still have to wonder, like, who is he? I mean, there's like the TV shows that my brother and I are into right now. Like we like watching shows together. We're kind of gotten into some anime lately. Okay. And we have what we call it doesn't really make sense why we call it this, but we call it our book club, because we're not reading books, we're watching TV. Yeah. But we'll pause it and we'll just discuss. And my mom will come in, she's like, like he'll say, I'll do my homework after this episode, and it'll be a 30-minute episode and we're in there for 2 hours discussing what's happening. But it's like, that's what is so fun about watching it, is getting to discuss. And it's these shows that there's room for that discussion, because they don't make a lot of sense maybe right away. Not everything's fully explained. There's these characters that come and go and you're like, what happened to them? But that's where the richness comes from. That's why we watch, like, my favorite show right now is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He showed me that show like 3 years ago, and I'm still like obsessed with it, because there's so much to it that I'm still trying to figure out. And so stuff that, like the new Star Wars stuff, it's like you watch it once, they tell you, like, you watch it, it's somewhat entertaining or frustrating, and then you just don't really want to return to it. That's kind of how I felt about those movies.
I think they ran, the problem with these shows is they started to try to do what Marvel wanted to do, and Marvel fell off the wagon the same way The Walking Dead did. They thought, people like this, let's give them more of it. Right? So Marvel built up for 10 years till the final Avengers of Infinity Wars and that final thing. But then they were like, Disney bought it and was like, let's do a whole bunch of shows and let's do this and let's keep expanding. And The Walking Dead did that. And then Star Wars started to do it. And then it's like, it's too much. Like, I need some anticipation of this. Like, I need it to come out, in a couple of years, and I need to wait and be surprised. And that anticipation, is nice. More is not always good.
Wow. Yeah. That's so fascinating. I felt that because I got into Marvel during COVID. I watched all the Marvel movies, had never seen any of them, and watched them in chronological order. And I love how they would introduce characters in other characters' movies. And I see Star Wars doing that. And like, they bring in Ahsoka into The Mandalorian, and they brought in Luke when he was younger or whatever. And it's like, I think that's really cool. It's kind of fan servicey, but I don't care. I like fan service in some amounts, but But now with Marvel, like I don't know what they were doing because I kind of stopped watching the stuff because I wasn't as interested in it.
Because it got
and
diluted.
Now
it's
they're bringing all
good.
the Avengers back. They're making a new Avengers movie now.
I really hope it does well. I have the feeling it's not going to do well.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's gotten so diluted, and they have time has passed. It's been like 10 years since the Infinity Wars, right? Something like that.
I think probably almost. Yeah, that was like maybe 2019 or something.
Okay, so let's
18,
say
19.
let's say 7 years. So now you've got that 7 years ago. Things have changed. You know, people are become comfortable staying at home and watching a movie. People are not going to the theaters as much. So why are they going to drag? If you know this movie's going to come out, you know, and I can watch it at home on the big screen, am I going to go to the theater to watch it if it's going to be on Disney Plus in 30 days? I mean, that happened to Superman. The Superman movie came out, and it was on HBO within I felt like 3 months.
Yeah. And by the time you kind of before you realize it, it's like, oh, I can just stream it now. Yeah. I mean, my brother and I, we'll go to see a movie if it's one we really want to see, if it's like on a Tuesday and it's half price movie, because otherwise it feels like it's got to be something really, really special for us to go and buy a movie ticket to go see the movie.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
The tickets are what, $13 or something like that? You get something to drink, and a popcorn or something, you're $40 in to go see a movie.
Yeah. Especially if we want our whole family to go, it's just rarely, very rare. I think the only movie that I'm right now that I'm anticipating this to come out, and I will absolutely, well, actually, I am excited about Mandalorian. I probably will go see that because I'm excited, and I have hope that it will hopefully be good. But the Super Mario Galaxy movie, I will be there on opening night if possible.
There you go. Get you dressed up?
So excited. Yes, we dressed up for the first Mario. My brother and I were Mario and Luigi, but that's that was my favorite game when I was little.
Yeah.
My first Mario game, and I played it. My dad and I played it together. It has so much personal meaning to me that of course the movie, I'll spend the money to go see it in the theater on the big screen and just have that experience. But yeah, but there's a lot coming out this year that I've been more excited about. The past few years, there's not that many movies or shows that I've been so excited about. This year, I feel more excited. It could just be my niche, the things I'm into happen to be coming out, but I hope it's an upward trend for being excited about stuff.
That I've even seen that I've been ooh, this is really good. I can't wait to see this. And if it does, I'm normally don't have time to go to the theater. I'm gigging on the weekend, so I'll be I'll wait till it comes on streaming.
Yeah.
The last movie I went to go see in the theater was the new Fantastic Four that came out.
Oh.
And that was only because I was on vacation and I was hanging out with a buddy of mine in Virginia, and we were okay, let's go see a movie. All right. And we went. And,
that's fun.
and it was good.
I heard that was pretty good.
It was good. It was kind of boring, at a certain point. It was good. No. It wasn't the Marvel, that had started everything, where it was still excitement. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's sad. I feel like Hollywood's lost its way. Everything is I just saw an advertisement when I was at the gym earlier for Scream #7. I'm we're going to do Scream 100? Am I going to resurrected in 50 years, and the Scream is out again, and Scream 75. You know what I mean? Come on, guys. We need some fresh ideas happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how they keep trying to reinvent that, but.
Oh my God. I don't know.
I mean, I've seen 3 of those, and I'm I'm good. I don't need to see any more of them.
It's always the same. There's a guy chasing him.
When
are they going to stop chasing this girl?
It's scary. It's going to probably, and the thing is, it has to get more extreme because there has to be something, because the stories can't really grow too much.
Yeah.
That, cause it's they've done it. It's the family. It's the friend. It's the best friend. It's the boyfriend. It's all the shock value has been taken out of who's the mystery, killer. But so then they make the gore more insane. And it's I can't watch that. I hate it. I don't like watching that kind of stuff. So they just have to get more and more extreme.
Yes.
And rather than getting more original. And Yeah, I would rather see that too.
I think Hollywood's just going for what sells these days. Actually, the most entertaining movie I've seen in a long time. It kept I didn't go to the theater. It's on Amazon Prime. It's got Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista in it. And they're two brothers. And it is just funny. And it's like an action flick with some, and I was just like, I sat and watched the whole movies from start to finish. And that is a rarity for me these days. Most of these movies, I'm like, okay, I'll come back to this later on. Okay, I'll come back to it later. And I was like, this was entertaining.
That's so
this
refreshing.
Is good. Yeah, I'm like, it's nothing super original. It's kind of hokey and silly, but it kept me entertained because there was some comedy in it, and the guys do a good job acting. So I'm like, all right, I'll check it out.
There's hope.
If you get bored. Payton Velligan, thank you for coming on the Queen City Music Podcast. You now hold the record for the longest episode with me.
Oh my God.
We're going on 4 hours, girl. So It's been a pleasure talking to you. There's some other things I want to talk about, but maybe we'll have you back another time. And
that
we
would
will
be
talk
fun.
about that.
That would be so fun.
Payton, if there's, how do we get in touch with you if we want to find out more about Payton Velligan and all the things that you are involved with?
Well, you can check out my website. It's www.paytonrosemusic.com. I have lots of, show dates there. I have pictures and videos. Like this podcast will probably be up there. So there's lots of stuff to check out, as well as my original music is up on my website. And, you can check me out on Instagram at Payton Rose Velligan, which is just my full name. And it's Payton with an A, by the way. And Facebook, I'm there too. I just got on TikTok, so I'm new on there. And yeah, so it's all the same. It's Payton Rose Velligan. And yeah, please check out my music on whatever streaming service you use. If you like Bandcamp, it's also on Bandcamp, and it's on my website too if you just want to go check it out. But it should be under Payton Rose. And yeah, my most recent song probably at this point will be awesome. Unforgettable You.
And how about Camera Eye? What's the website for you guys on Camera Eye?
The Camera Eye, it's we're the Camera Eye on Facebook. I think the URL is Camera Rush or Camera Eye Rush. Okay. Our handle on Instagram is Camera Rush. And our website is www.thecameraeyerush.com. I think I just made it. So
I'll Google them and put them all in the show notes. I'll find it.
Thank you.
I'll track it down.
But,
and one more time, the Landslide group. Well, how do I?
Landslide. Landslide's easy. It's Landslide NC everywhere.
Right. There we go. Payton, once again, it's been a pleasure talking to you and catching up and finding out all about the things that you've been up to. Much success to you.
Thanks
for listening to episode 97 of the Queen City Music Podcast, and I hope you'll go back and check out past episodes. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your friends. As always, if you have an idea for an episode or would like to be a guest on the QCMP, reach out to me at, you guessed it, qcmusicpodcast@gmail.com. Also, check out our local partners, Charlotte New Music at charlottenewmusic.org, Black of the Berry Lemonade at btblemonade.com, and our newest local partner, The Evening Muse at eveningmuse.com. And if you would like to become a local partner yourself, touch base with me at qcmusicpodcast@gmail.com. Also, until next month, get out there and support the local Charlotte music scene by hearing some of the talented musicians who call our city home.